presented by Let's Play Live, Australasia's new home of esports at letsplay.live. Logitech G, bringing you winning gaming devices, mice, keyboards, headsets and controllers. Game with passion, win with science. Logitech G. Twitch, the world's leading social video platform and community for gamers. Twitch.tv. The NZGC is powered by Playtech. Technology at play. Playtech is the #1 custom PC system builder in New Zealand. Visit playtech.co.nz. Players stay at Adina Apartment Hotel at Britomart, Auckland. Book today at adinahotels.com. Adina, official accommodation of the NZGC. Now, let the gaming begin.
Tonight's matchup, King 5 versus Tigereye. Round 1, match 1 of the NZGC League of Legends Premiership. And of course, welcome to the NZGC League of Legends Premiership. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are live from the Hexadome and we are going to be live here for the next 6 weeks as we bring you all of the action. Before we go any further though, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Matt Pixie Carroll and joining me here tonight is the esteemed Matt Smite Ross.
That's right, and over the next 6 weeks we have 6 of the best teams in New Zealand competing. They've got so much story behind them. We have teams coming in from qualifiers, wildcards. There's even a hand-picked team of all-stars coming in. It's absolutely insane. It's going to be so much competition coming in, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, like I said, we've got the best 6 teams from around the country playing out here across the next 6 weeks to prove that they are the best in the nation. So let's take a little bit more of a look at how that 6 weeks is going to play out.
The NZGC League of Legends Premiership consists of 6 teams of 5 players in 2 groups. Blue Group, Villains, 2 Easy Gaming and DNA. Red Group, King 5, Tigereye and Decode. Each team plays 2 round-robin matches in their group and 1 crossover feature match. All matches are best of 3 games. Points-wise, a 2-0 win gets you 4 points, a 2-1 win 3 points, and a 1-2 loss, a point. From week 4, it's playoff and elimination time, and the points scored in rounds 1 to 3 will create the seeding order as we head towards the business end of the NZGC, the grand final on Wednesday, October 12.
And that is how the next 6 weeks are going to play out. That is how teams can earn their points to earn their spot in the all-important playoffs. We are bringing you the action 3 nights a week from here. So let's take a little bit of a look at how this week is going to go.
Well, coming up tonight, we've got the top seed from the qualifier, King 5. They're going to be taking on Tigereye, who are the 3rd seed from the qualifier. So already some history between these teams. Tomorrow night is going to be DNA taking on 2 Easy. And then, of course, on Wednesday, live on Sky Sport 3, live from the Hexadome, our returning champions, the Villains, will be taking on Decode, a team of hand-picked all-stars.
So we've got a ton of action this week. Some really, really hot matchups. And of course, we're starting it with a bang. We have a pretty hot matchup tonight. King 5 are going to be taking on Tigereye. Let's take a look at that head-to-head and see how these teams stack up one against the other.
So, of course, first up is going to be King 5. Like I said before, top seed coming out from the major qualifier. Let's have a look at their lineup. Up in the top lane, it's going to be Raven. Jungle is going to be Bill. In the mid lane, it's Shock. And down in the bottom lane, AD carry Kaio, and support is Lil Decoy. Now, the player to watch in this team is Raven in the top lane. Recently qualified for the Oceanic Challenge Series, but Tigereye.
Yeah, for sure. Tigereye going to be their opponents tonight, though, and they're going to be lining up with Rare Fiction in the top lane, Bonley in the jungle, Artifiends in the mid lane, and in the bottom lane at AD carry, OK Tiger, a veteran of the scene, and as his support will be Brawler, a fellow veteran. So again, very stacked teams here, and I would say the lane to watch out for Tigereye is that bottom lane.
It's actually pretty crazy, right? You've got two different lanes, top lane for King 5, bottom lane for Tigereye. But I've just had word, we're ready to get into the pick ban. The teams are ready in the lobby. Here we go, straight away. King 5, Tigereye, let's go.
And already Lee Sin just straight off the table for King 5 there, giving a lot of respect there to Bomi, taking that out. Zillion now being taken away. I expect we're going to see some fairly standard bans just across the board for these two teams to start with.
The Yasuo one is a little bit interesting, not quite seen in the competitive scene like Cassiopeia that we're seeing coming out now as a ban too, but Yasuo suggests either a little bit of scouting coming out from the teams, showing that Tigereye may be favoring a Yasuo pickup.
Yeah, and the Lee Sin kind of speaks to that as well. It definitely looks like King 5 have done their homework coming into this. Last one they take off the board will be Shen, just a bit of an all-rounder in that top lane. And Trundle off the board as well. That actually opens up top lane quite a bit. Now King 5 need to consider what their first pickup is going to be and what lane they're going to prioritize, because nothing at all has been banned out for bottom lane.
So key things that have been left open, well, of course Karma has been left open, a very common top pick, but I'm just going to very quickly talk about the openings and the bans. Nidalee's open for Bill, Aurelia's open for Raven.
Yeah, and honestly, these are champions that are like interchangeable with the player name just about, and interesting to see that none of them have been picked up just yet, and in fact Rare Fiction going to opt towards that Echo, and Bomi going to be picking up the Vlad to hand over to Art of Fiends, so really shows what sort of comp they're prioritizing here, given that King 5 have already locked in the mobility they're going to get out of Karma. I feel like Tigereye are going, yep, we'll let you have that. We're going to play a really, really run-you-down, stick-in-the-fight-for-ages kind of team comp. But Bill on Nidalee.
A few hovers over Rek'Sai suggesting going to stick to that standard top-tier pick in the jungle, but Bill going back to comfort. Nidalee by no means weak in the jungle, but has fallen out of favor in competitive play just a little bit. But Bill going back to his roots on that Nidalee, and we haven't even started to talk about Raven on that Aurelia.
Yeah, and a lot of junglers were left open here, right? So this is really clever by King 5, because there are, the top-tier junglers for sure, but there are also comfort picks. This is the first match these guys are playing against one another, the first game of the first match even. So I'm not surprised to see them going for those comfort picks, going, let's see if we can just push it out on these before we even consider the bannable junglers. By taking Lee Sin off the table and picking up Nidalee, King 5 have set themselves up really nice to just test out Tigereye here.
Going for those comfort power picks though has left them open to have Sivir stolen away from them. Now they don't get that Sivir Karma duo. They've also let slip through the ban phase as well. Talking about comfort picks is that Nami for Brawler. Fun fact, his summoner name actually used to be Fish King Brawler. So just absolutely comfortable on that champion. Works well with Sivir in the bottom lane. We'll see how that turns out, but a few more picks have arrived. I
really like what King 5 have picked up here, adding in the Lucian to the mix here. This is just a team with a lot of threats. They're going to come at you from a lot of directions, and funnily enough, it'll be the victor kind of controlling the middle ground of the fights, which I do like, because that is exactly where Vladimir and, to an extent, Echo is going to sit. Echo is probably going to duck in and out of the fights a little bit more, but in any case, King 5, they're honestly just looking to team fight in a way where they always have initiative, right? Doesn't matter how they start it, they're just going to pile things in one after the other, and it forces Tigereye to address who is the more threatening threat.
Threatening threat.
Yeah, who is the more threatening threat on the fly? Quite a tricky situation, but I like how they've reacted with the Nami pick there, because that's just a ton of peel in and of itself, and we have yet to see. That's a lie. We have now seen what they're going to be picking up, and my guess is actually that's going to be a Maokai top and then an Echo jungle.
So that's really interesting. Of course, there's the option to have Maokai in the jungle, his natural habitat being a tree and all. But of course, I think, yeah, it's going to be Echo in the jungle. Echo, we haven't seen very much at all, if in fact any Echo jungle in competitive play very, very recently. But still has the speed to clear, still has incredible ganking coverage before even level 6. In fact, level 6 doesn't really help ganking at all unless you get into a spot of trouble. So it is an interesting decision. And in fact, this could even play into a little bit of mind games, making King 5 think Echo's playing in the top lane and suddenly tree. Yeah,
and especially when you know Raven is a really, really strong top laner, right? And you know he's probably going to go for that Aurelia if it's open. So very smart move there by Tigereye in the draft. We are going to be coming right back in just a moment, though, to look at this pick ban right after a word from our sponsors.
The NZGC is brought to you by our incredible technology and media partners.
And there you have it, all the lock-ins. Those teams are now hitting the rift, and we're going to be joining them in just a few minutes, which means we have plenty of time to break down this pick ban because there is so much to talk about here. The first thing I kind of want to look at, honestly, is that top lane. We already touched on it a bit, but Shoulder Raven, super comfortable, but coming up against that kind of surprise Maokai pick.
I actually love it, right? Because Maokai is a top laner that you pick just to sort of brick wall the enemy top laner. Of course, he's no Rumble, he's no Gnar. Wood wall. He's not going to bully you out of lane unless, of course, there's a really wide skill gap. Maokai is the champion that you pick to just wave clear, sit under the tower, keep it alive, even in a major split push threat, which Aurelia absolutely can be.
Yeah, exactly. They kind of take that option off the board for Shoulder Raven and, in fact, King 5 as a whole. And I kind of touched on that with the team comp they've brought to the table here. It's very mobility-oriented. Between the Karma and the Nidalee, they can be in a lot of lanes very, very quickly. So they want to try and rotate around and take down turrets. And split pushing kind of marries into that really nicely, right? Because you're like, oh, we need to react to this Aurelia in the top lane, and then the rest of the team can kind of rotate down to either mid or bottom, depending on where they're all set up. And while you're busy looking at the Aurelia, they're taking down your turrets. But with that Maokai, that kind of gets taken off the table now for King 5, and they're going to have to play a much more pick-oriented game.
And of course, you talk about the Karma, how she brings so much mobility to King 5. At the same time, Sivir was taken away, so On the Hunt is now available to Tigereye, which of course is going to give them that huge boost of movement speed when they need it. But Nami is not too far away from what Karma can bring. Every spell that hits your allies is going to give you that speed boost, and when it matters the most, in a way similar to the Sivir ultimate, is going to be that tidal wave. Of course, every team member that it hits is going to get that small speed boost that Nami brings out. Of course, it's no Karma burst speed burst. Speed burst. Speed boost. It's nothing like that. But it's still similar, and we'll be able to give them the reaction time to catch up to them. And of course, Cloud Drakes could be a really key factor in this matchup.
Yeah, in fact, for both teams, so I'd really like to see how they play out that vision control. I feel like that's something actually Bill will have a slightly easier time doing, just because he's got a bit of that mobility. Echo can jump over some walls, but Bill just has a bit of an easier time doing it, can kind of get into the pit, clear out vision there, set up vision there. I would not at all be surprised to see King 5 really prioritize that, and with the pressure that Aurelia can put down. I mean, sure, the Maokai counters it out later on, but Aurelia does still apply pressure, right? They don't necessarily have to bring him out of there to actually pick up dragons. They've got a lot of tools for the early game with how they choose to apply their pressure. I want to touch on that Nami one more time, though, because I mentioned in pick ban the peel option that Nami brings as well with the bubble and the tidal wave, because, of course, King 5 want to play a very pick-oriented game, but at the same time, Tigereye could quite easily counter that out.
And the key thing is, if split pushing isn't working, then Raven is going to show up in so many more team fights. Having that Nami available to peel off of your Sivir, keep that AD carry alive so that you can sit in the back line as that squishy damage dealer that can die so easily if your bodyguard looks the other way for a second. Nami's going to be there, and that small stun that she brings, not too hard to hit as well. Aurelia is very predictable. Will dive dive straight in. Pushes Q, is right there. Throw at that Q, that little bubble, going to keep Nami locked up long enough to get your Sivir to safety, but also start bursting down that Aurelia.
And the other thing that'll be going on, of course, in these team fights is at the same time, there's going to be a dive coming in from the Maokai as well onto King 5's backline, right? Okay, Tiger, he's going to have to be dealing with that, and he isn't exactly super mobile himself. I mean, Lucian, fairly mobile, but the moment he backs off because of a diver, he's then not really dealing damage in the rest of the fight. So Shoulder Raven can get locked up quite easily. Maokai, he's not as squishy, right? If he gets locked up by the Karma, which no doubt he will do, he's going to live through that, right? And he can just take up King 5's time, which means if King 5 want to fight and win, they really need initiative, which means they really need vision control.
And here we are loading into the Rift on the first night of the NZGC. We're here in the Hexadome. Teams are spamming their mastery emotes. They're ready, we're ready. Onto the Rift we go.
Match 1, game 1. King 5 versus Tigereye. And I don't doubt that we'll see a fairly defensive startup from these teams. A lot on the line already. I don't think any of them want to be making any big mistakes early. Fairly stock standard defensive fan out from both sides.
Of course, going back to how the point system works as well, it is super important to get that 2-0 as well. 4 points puts you well ahead of so many teams, especially on that first round. Huge for morale, huge for points as well, which are, I guess, the most important thing. But it's going to give you just such a massive boost at the start in the first week. So, of course, teams don't want to go risky. They don't want to drop a game, because even if you drop a game, even if you go 1-2, you still get at least some points.
And both teams just sort of sniffing out the positioning, making sure that nothing too funky is going to be coming down. Fairly standard wards out of both sides. And I do like the deep vision there from Tigereye. They know exactly what's going on in that bottom side, at least to start with, which means they also know where Bill is going to be starting off. Very important with how mobile that Nidalee is. Something important to note, it might look minor to some viewers, but 3 totems haven't been used at all for King 5. They're in the trinket slots. You can see they haven't been used. But I was going to talk about this actually. This is something that King 5 are a little bit known for. In fact, a lot of the teams in the qualifier did this. Blue side, they would go and mess around with the enemy duo, stop them from doing Gromp, instead of going for the gentleman's agreement and just both starting on the jungle camp. And of course, the importance of that Gromp is when you arrive in the lane, it gives you a bit of an experience boost over your opponents. You get a level advantage earlier and can use that to either just bully out your opponent to get some nice resources, or to even go in for a kill. So very smart move there by King 5, as both teams now just in lane, stock standard junglers, both starting on the same side of the jungle as well. And both teams want to take it nice and slow to begin with.
Both junglers as well, Nidalee and Echo, have a lot of presence before level 6. So every laner is going to have to be on edge right now, because Nidalee can bring a lot of burst damage, Echo can bring a lot of control, so they'll come in and they'll kill you in different ways, but you need to be keeping an eye out for that. Of course, the other important thing during early laning is who gets that level 2 first.
And I don't know who got it first, but it's dead even now, so there you have it. No one really going to go aggressive with that early level 2. I find it interesting actually that King 5's bottom lane is shoving against that Sivir.
It is an interesting choice, but it's in a way a defensive play, because you know that the Civ is going to shove against you as well. So, OK Tiger has to be opting into this, has to be choosing to have the wave shoved into him. But on the flip side, of course, Lil Decoy on that Karma brings a lot of wave clear as well. And Lucian, while it's nothing like Sivir, can bring a lot of his own as well.
Yeah, both really just trading blows, coming across fairly even now, and CS also fairly even across all lanes. Raven CSing a little bit under turret, but that is a fairly sizable wave for Rare Fiction if he can pick all those up. And he's actually really holding his own for now against Raven.
No huge advantage just yet. Bill going to be spotted out by that nice early ward in the bottom lane. Going to be actually pretty key for Tigereye. They know where the enemy jungler is. King 5 have no idea where Bomi is. So everyone, again, they're going to have to keep playing on edge. They can't go for risky plays. But Tigereye, however, know who can. They know that in the bottom lane, they've got to be a little careful. But, of course, Atrophians and Rare Fiction in the top lane, they can go a little bit more aggressive.
That they can. I mean, they've spotted out Bill especially, so they know where he is. I mean, the Nidalee can move quite quickly, but even so, the Nidalee isn't exactly going to be up in the top lane in a hurry, which means Raven has plenty of time to shove this one out, because, funnily enough, Bomi knows that Bill is bottom side, so he needs to stay bottom side himself.
Oh, a little bit cheeky here by Bill. We could have our first blood.
Oh, he wants to go right in for it. That's a really, really convenient parallel convergence, though, because it kind of forced Bill's hand. Bomi is going to be able to get away over the wall, and Bill going to be able to come on in with the support of his bottom lane to steal away this buff, or not quite. I think it did go over, yes.
Got to be a little bit careful as well. Now, the key thing to take away from that is Bomi blew his flash, but Lil Decoy blew his flash.
Yeah.
Flash on the support is way more important to have than on the jungler. Bomi now knows he can go down to the bottom lane, Lil Decoy will be vulnerable, and he can come in and secure a kill.
Fiends in the mid lane starting to take a little bit of damage now. Is the Vlad, so he'll be able to sustain back up, but Shock doing a good job of bullying him out, even as CS stays fairly even. Raven is playing quite aggressive in this top lane. Might see Bomi start to make a move up towards that top side.
Raven, of course, yeah, he's known to be a very aggressive player, will take trades anytime he can. Of course, we see Bomi still hanging around the top side of the map, but he was spotted out by that ward at the Raptor camp, which shows why Raven was going so aggressive. He knew he had a great time to go aggressive and get in a recall. He's already headed back. He's got his stinger. That's going to make trading really good. In fact, he's holding on to his teleport as well, which in a few minutes might be very key in a fight in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I actually mentioned how important vision control is for King 5, and that ward shows a lot of proactivity. And of course, the wards, for those of you tuning in for the first time, give teams vision in the fog of war that they otherwise would not have, so it really increases the amount of information available to players, and we already saw there the tactical impact that can have. So really great movement by Shock to get that ward in without missing any CS. They are dead even in that mid lane.
Yeah, so we haven't actually talked about the mid lane at all, even since the pickman phase. Of course, these are both champions that do very similar things in laning phase, which is going to be wave clear as much as you can. If you get a moment, go to another lane, help your buddies out, and maybe get a kill. But it's when the late game comes around. We might have a few moments to talk about that because Vlad goes deep. Vlad for Tigereye, he's going to be able to get straight into the back line with Rare Fiction on that Maokai.
Yeah, and I touched on that as well a little bit earlier, how long Rare Fiction is going to survive for in that back line. And the Vlad is going to be in there with him, like you said, and of course he too is going to survive for a long time, while also dealing damage. It really means King 5 have a lot to deal with. So, like I said, King 5, they need initiative when they start these fights, or they can very much get turned around on them. And to do that, they need vision. They already have a fair chunk around that Dragon Pit.
Of course, I feel like either team is not going to be looking for the dragon this early on, unless it's coming straight off the back of a very, very one-sided fight, a victory, which both teams are. It's honestly so dead even right now. You have a look at the CS, the creep score. It's within 5 of each other in every single lane. It's actually kind of crazy.
And CS, you said,
Bill.
standing for creep score, signifies how many minions each player has
They
killed.
know he's there.
Yeah, they've spotted out Bill in the jungle here. He's just going to go on the retreat. Rare Fiction can't quite close in. Bill actually, he wanted to steal away a Krug, but he's playing very aggressive in this jungle.
And he knows he's got a little bit of room to be aggressive because Shock has Atrophine's pushed in the mid lane. He can roam up anytime he likes. Raven is still quite pushed up as well, so he can move in on the flank, help out, as opposed to Rare Fiction, who's going to come in with a snare but not a whole ton of damage.
And both teams just, again, trying to secure as much vision as possible. I do still like King 5's vision control for now. Quite aggressive, allowing Bill to do what he's doing. Going deep in the mid lane. Atrophine's, he's really hard to gank with that pool. I mean, didn't look any summoners there, and Bill actually took a couple of turret shots. So as much as I like his aggressive play, he does need to be careful when he goes deep, especially on that Vlad. I don't expect we're going to be seeing kills for a while here.
Important is that he kept both of his summoner spells, both escape summoner spells as well. And Bill, he blew Flash. He isn't going to be able to come back and maybe take an advantage from Atrophine's. Notoriously, Vlad's already a hard champion to gank. He still has Flash, he still has Ghost. He's going to stay alive for quite a long time, but some aggression in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Trident KO just going to go ahead. Yeah, throwing out a Culling. He's getting a lot down. Brola's going to have to blow a Flash here. He does. He barely gets away as KO goes in for a Flash. That leaves OK Tiger totally exposed, taking damage. KO goes in deep. OK Tiger, the Q does not quite land from Little Decoy, and OK Tiger gets out by the skin of his teeth. A lot of summoners blown all across the board, though.
The important summoners that weren't blown, though, are those teleports in the top lane. Raven and Rare Fiction both opting to stay. There was a perfect ward for Rare Fiction to come in, go for a flank, but maybe communication wasn't quite there. But in any case, they didn't call him in, but the action is still there. With the flashes down, teams are going to be aggressive, and the teleports still may be seen.
Yeah, Little Decoy still has his. OK Tiger also still having his, so a lot of potential pressure. But I feel like that was just pressure gained so that King 5 could back up here. And that is exactly what they are. Actually, they're going to stop the recalls now. Bill maybe looking to make a move in the mid lane, but this will get spotted out.
Of course, it's all about the amount of gold you have when you recall. You want to get that exact item that you want rather than being 100 gold off, not quite able to, you know, it's a bit greedy to sit in the fountain letting the gold tick up until you've got the item that you want. But in any case, like I said, the action has got to stay focused on this bottom side of the map. Bill knows it, so he's going for a steal on the blue buff.
Yeah, they know this is getting collapsed on.
Bomi is nowhere to be seen. This could be a dragon push as well, because especially they don't have vision on Bomi right now, but they haven't seen him at all in his own jungle. So I feel like with a smite advantage, maybe they should pressure something.
And a really nice laser as well to secure that one. That goes over to Shock. Bomey, you can tell he's already thinking, oh, I'll just go ahead and steal his, but Bill's pathing has been really on point here. Made sure there was no blue buff to steal. So Bomey going to make the best of a bad situation, going to go for a dive in the top lane as Bill makes his presence known to him in. But there's Raven getting dived upon as we speak. Red Fiction going deep to tank up the turret. He's able to get out, back under the turret. Bomey goes in deep, but he gets stunned. Oh, the Equilibrium strike nearly spelled disaster for Bomey, but he blows his flash to get out. Is going to be nice and safe. Bill, though, he's going to come in for the return. I don't think he's quite going to be able to get in if he goes, unless he goes deep under the turret, but he will be able to steal away some CS, so Bomey is still going to pay for that move.
And the key thing as well, knowing that there wasn't going to be a response from the top lane, very cheekily, Shock actually roamed up through the jungle and put another ward right in the path to the Raptors, so they're going to keep an eye on Bomey again, and that's going to give them the information they need to take a victory on the bottom side of the map, or maybe get a kill for Raven in the top lane. Either thing is a very, very big advantage.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they spot Bomey going up to the top side if they put some pressure on that dragon, since KO has been able to push up this wave. Certainly the initiative is there. Still a bit of a risky move, but King 5 certainly feeling confident with their moves right now, and really just staying on top of that vision. Oh, little decoy though. Oh, he's getting really badly collapsed on here. Our defense is there, but little decoy. Oh, he's totally caught up. The collapse right there for Tigereye. Rolling that straight into a dragon as well. First blood going down. Tigereye with the initiative.
This dragon is dropping pretty quickly. It is the Ocean Drake, so regeneration, boosting their health and mana, but a flank is coming out. Bill from the top side, Kaio from the bottom side.
They're going in. The dragon gets smited away. There's a culling though, and actually Tigereye a little bit pincered here. They're just going to go and fight their way out of it. Bill, he's the first to get focused. The bubble is going to catch him, and Artivan takes it one down. KO isolated from his team. Raven has gone deep to try and get what he can, but he gets stunned up with that bubble. KO, he did not quite get... Oh no, he is still getting collapsed upon. They still want it. Rare Fiction goes in. The Q is there from Vlad. That's a double kill for Rare Fiction of all people and Tigereye. It looked like they were getting pincered on, but they grabbed a pincer and snapped it off. They made it work.
Oh, that cute recall.
The cute recall.
But that was a huge team fight. We're 4-for-1 right now. Tigereye, it looked like they were pincered, but of course, they weren't trapped in with King 5. King 5 was trapped in with them.
That's exactly what we were talking about as well, right? King 5, they need to go in with initiative in these team fights, or it goes sour for them, because Tigereye can stay in the fight a lot longer, and that's exactly what we saw there. King 5's ideal fight is when they run straight at each other, not actually when they're coming in from the sides like they were just there.
Their ideal fight is also when they're not one man down, which was a pretty key part of that fight, we've got to remember. The catch onto Lil Decoy, that took away an AoE shield with a speed boost as well, which would have been massive in that team fight. I feel like the flank was good, but being a man down just didn't work out. But Ocean Drake over to Tigereye, gonna get that regen.
Yeah, and now they're looking to have the initiative with those map rotations, already starting to take a bit of vision control around that bottom side, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them pressure a turret there. Next Drake, by the way, it's going to be a Mountain Drake to aid in that turret destruction.
So if Tigereye picked that up, what's that, a Mud Drake? A mud combination?
Yeah, it's
water and
ocean,
mud?
Yeah.
No,
mud type, yeah.
Mud.
It's my favorite kind of Pokemon.
Mud Drake. So we've got to look at where the kills also went. Like you mentioned in the middle of that fight, Rare Fiction picking up a double kill, and while Raven was able to pick up a kill of his own, it's still going to be, a gold disadvantage. Rare Fiction going to be even more of a brick wall to the split push Raven Aurelia style that we see so often out of them. It's just exactly what Tigereye needed to pick up in that fight.
Here's that vision control for Tigereye really starting to pay off already. They know that Bill is in the bottom side, so Bomey is going to go ahead and steal away the blue buff.
A nice pickup, of course, taking it away from Shock. Does need that mana. Looking at him right now, the blue bar is looking a little bit empty there. Isn't going to be able to use his spells as often. Bill hopping around in the mid lane as well. Of course, that's going to be spotted out. And we talk about this over and over, but knowledge of where a jungler is so important. We're going to be leaving the laning phase soon as teams are going to start moving around together. But still, at this point, right now, jungler information is crucial.
Speaking of, look at that top side for King 5. That is lit up like a Christmas tree. Tigereye know everything that there is to be known in that top side of the jungle. They know exactly where Bill is right now, which means they know that this aggression in the bottom side is unfounded. So actually, wave in the bottom side. Okay, Tiger had to blow a lot of summoners there, but they do live.
Something to point out,
they're happy to stick around. They know there's no jungler.
Is that Kaio and Decoy have been pushing into this tower pretty hard, especially against a Sivir. As you can see, they're still getting damage on. And of course, the first turret to die in the game gives a pretty significant boost in gold to the team that gets it. And, well, they're getting closer, especially against a Sivir. Raven turning a little bit aggressive.
Taking a little bit of damage, and I mean, that's really just the extra tankiness Rare Fiction has. Raven can't really go toe-to-toe with him anymore. Still going to try, still needs to get that CS, and Bomey already setting up something up top there. See if that comes to something, because Bill is answering it in the bottom lane. They're going to go for a dive again. Red Fiction already deep. Raven, he can't retreat to his turret. He has to go back. Now he flashes away. Bomi going deep for it. Dives in with the phase dive. He's got the damage, but Red Fiction cannot tank up anymore. Bomi, he can't stick too long. He goes back with the health. Oh, and takes up the last shot of the turret. Red Fiction timed it right. Flash with the follow-up. Now Bill, the bottom lane, was totally spotted out. And Tigereye get away clean in the top side.
But King 5 are at least getting the pressure to push the bot lane away from their tower.
Get this turret?
The initial demolition, the first turret that goes down in the game. Like I said, gives the gold boost.
Team 5.
King 5 do pick it up. They're going to pick up that gold. There were 3 players, so the local gold is also going to be split up a little bit, so no huge advantages. But it's the team gold that does go up. And as you can see, despite the kill disadvantages, they've evened up the gold, 25k apiece.
And a lot of that has just been the pure CS differential. Bill, even though there's been a lot of vision on him, has done a great job of cleaning out Bomi's jungle. And Bomi knows that that's going to happen, so he's being proactive about ganking and pressuring turrets. So far it is working for them. But the other place with the CS advantage is the bottom lane for King 5.
We've actually seen every time the camera pans down, Kaio and Lil Decoy, like I said before, have been shoving into that tower, have had control of the lane almost the entire time. I feel Bill spending a lot of time down that side of the map has had some effect on that. But in any case, yes, you're right, there is a CS advantage. And of course, Lucian moving into the mid game where skirmishes are prone to happen a lot more. And with 1 minute for the dragon to spawn, that's going to be where he's going to be some of the most powerful points in the game for Kaio. So keep an eye on him in the back line with the dual pistols of light. Watch out for that culling.
Yeah, and he's really able to kind of bob and weave in these fights. That being said, the gold boost from that initial demolition is really going to do work for Tigereye here, since they are 1 dragon up as well. And they've kind of got that gold onto the right members as well. Sorry, the initial demolition for King 5, who don't have that dragon. That's what I meant to say. What I said was the complete opposite.
That's all right. We're hyping up the dragon quite a lot, but there's still old mate Harold up in the top lane, the Rift Herald. He's looking a bit lonely. That's the one that you want to take if you have one guy who you want to be really strong, splitting off in a side lane. And, well, King 5, we've talked about it a lot, split pushing Raven. If they're looking for something that's not Dragon, they could opt to go and put a lot of control around the top side and grab the Herald, especially with the tower down in bottom lane. They could rotate their duo up there. Yeah,
both sides are still giving a lot of attention to this bottom side. I absolutely agree with you. King 5 could answer a dragon play from Tigereye, which they no doubt will be looking for by taking good old Harold the Herald. Bill going to take a bit of damage and back away as the scuttler up in that top side actually goes over to Tigereye, who are now collapsing into the mid lane. So there is a response here from King 5.
Coming in for the old ARAM strategy in the mid lane, forcing out the response from King 5 as well. They've got to come in. Now, both sides do have a fair amount of wave clear, but the important thing is that Dragon, they've got the positional advantage, they've got the vision, and remember what happened last time. Even with the flank, they couldn't win the fight. King 5 don't have the positional advantage. They're going for a trade, though.
Yeah, they could have gone in without having to do that pincer. They decided not to. They're going onto this turret now, but they're actually taking a while to get it, and there could be collapse. Oh, there's going to be the Karma with the empowered. Oh, hold on a second. Never mind that, because the wave's going to catch up. Raven, defense flashes in. He wants to get the damage. Goes into the pool, throwing down the ultimate as well. Bomi going deep to follow it up. They've already picked up Rolando on the backside. Zero, Raven diving on in. But here's the response now. KO as well with the follow-up damage. Tigereye, they have to back away from this one. They had a really great position on that fight, but that was a really smart response by King 5.
Knowing when they have the strength to turn it around, knowing with the choke point advantage, which is so key with Victor, that Chaos Storm locking off the thin passageway and absolutely devastating Tigereye in that team fight.
It was the wave, right? The wave caught Zero, Raven, in fact. But, you know, again, it's like, you're not, you haven't locked Raven in here, right? You're locked in here with Raven, and he just turned it right around onto OK Tiger. So, needs to still be respected despite being a couple of kills down in that lane.
We do have to talk about, as well, how Atrophians managed to get very, very deep into the enemy's backline, but still managed to die rather quickly, despite having Spirit Visage rushed up. He's still 2 for 0. He did manage to get quite a lot of damage done, but it's the late game Vlad when he's going to be able to do that forever with his zone, his hourglass. We're looking for that later on. Think maybe 10 minutes later, watch that guy.
Yeah, and I mean, he already knows that that's what he wants to be doing. He was maybe a little bit too eager there in that fight because he did flash in. In any case, has no return to lane, starting to CS up, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him eke out an advantage. And yeah, lonely old Harold is going to return to the void with no friends. Baron is going to take his place.
Baron Nashor also a key target for both teams. especially moving into the late game. Once that rolls around, like I said, 10 minutes on, there he is, the Nasher himself, the Baron of Nashers, giving that team-wide buff, allowing the Baron of Nashers.
He's just Baron Nasher. Relax.
Yes, all right. But he does give you that team-wide buff that's going to let you siege into the enemy base, specifically on that siege, buffing up the minions, making you more powerful in team fights. But to match that's going to be Elder Dragon. But which team is going to go for that?
Yeah.
Tigereye already have 2.
And they do still have control over that Dragon side as well. Next Dragon still a little while away as both of these teams just going to take a bit of a breather. Still running very even in gold as well. And really, again, it's CS differential coming out from Bill and KO. It's really keeping them even in the gold game right now.
Of course, that initial demolition gold keeping them afloat too. We've got to start talking about some of these item power spikes. A lot of them happened a few minutes ago. Raven picking up that Trinity Force. He's still continuing to go, but didn't manage to use its power spike effectively. Whereas people like Rare Fiction managed to get his first tank item and then started participating in team fights and having a huge effect on the rest of the game around important objectives like the dragons, like the towers, and even just the team fights that got his team some gold out of the flat kills.
I really like how Tigereye are rotating here, sending now their duo up top where that turret is gone. It does mean KO will be able to freeze, but in a way, Tigereye kind of want that because that gives them the freedom on the rest of the map when KO can't be in these fights.
Of course, it's always interesting when you have to send your AD carry to answer the split pushing or the big push coming out. KO, of course, it's going to be crucial during team fights. But no one's answering Rare Fiction right now. Raven has rotated around to assist his team. There's teleports up. He could be down there to answer that turret push. Maokai, though, not really known for rushing down turrets just
Certainly
yet.
not.
But it needs to be answered eventually.
Yeah, there's plenty of time to address it. You're right, it does need to be addressed. And KO starts to take a lot of damage in that 1v1. They need to send Raven up there to stop OK Tiger. But never mind all this because Bill maybe gone a bit too deep this time. Shock is there just to make sure his jungler gets out alive, and that is going to be the case. And now the split push in the bottom lane answered. And this has actually drawn King 5 away from this top side. Maybe an opportunity to get some vision for King 5 here.
So short of Bill going into the enemy jungle very deeply again, we're going to have a bit of a quiet period where teams are just trying to wrest control around the map. There's 2 minutes until the next dragon spawns, and we haven't quite seen which dragon it's going to be, but it could be rather important for either team. But here we go!
Artifiends has just gone deep because he knows Bommy is here to follow it up. Little decoy sitting onto the side though as Artifiends gets stunned up by the gravity well. Now Rare Fiction teleporting in. They want Raven in the fight as well. Brawler, the whole crew, everyone turning up as the AD carries are on their way in. Raven looking to go deep already. He wants Brawler. You can just tell he's so desperate for that, but Rare Fiction basically body blocking that one out, going, don't touch my fish. And now the AD carries have arrived. And because he's kind of low, Shock is kind of forced to back off, and Tigereye come out of that a little bit ahead if they can make something happen with this number advantage.
Important as well. I think Bill's going to be okay. But Shock was out of mana near the end of that fight, meaning they couldn't continue to push the siege. But talking about continuing to push the siege in the top lane, KO and Lil Decoy going to get that gold from that another tower being taken down. That's 3-1 in towers.
Yeah, I really like that movement as well. They knew they had a number disadvantage in the mid lane, so they're like, all right, well, let's create an advantage in another lane, going up top and relying on Shock's wave clear to keep that mid lane turret alive. King 5 turned a weakness into a strength there, taking down another turret.
Very, very important item pickup by KO as well on that recall. Executioner's Calling. What's been one of the big problems during team fights for King 5? It's the healing that comes out from Vladimir. Artifiends now, it's going to be cut in half whenever KO is able to shoot him. So dropping that in half makes it so much easier to kill Vlad before he's able to heal back up from his ultimate, from his transfusion, and going to be so key to wresting back that control that their team really, really favors.
And now again, both teams just trying to take it a little bit easy for a moment as Dragon comes in for the respawn. Tigereye already in position for this, but King 5 want to maybe collapse this time. They're feeling confident in their team fight. They know they need to fight before the fight gets too big.
KO is out on his own. There's no way he can get in unprotected, or you get in protected. But the Dragon's going to go down. They've got the wave to get out.
Yeah, really nice use of that. Now here comes KO with the damage. They're going to use the parallel convergence to try and make themselves some space for the retreat, but it doesn't work because Bill dives deep, finding Foamy. He is still very squishy. It is all that King 5 find, though. Keeps him a little bit even. you know, Dragon for a kill, you're happy to take that. But Tigereye with 2 Oceans and a Mountain Drake are looking really, really strong in the rotational game here. They need to start getting the vision down to take advantage of that.
The rotational game, that's so key for Tigereye getting the 2 Ocean Drakes and the Mountain Drake. They're going to be able to siege like monsters. The key thing is, for King 5, it puts another threat on the board once 35 minutes rolls around. You can't let a team with 3 Dragon buffs take out the Elder Dragon, but in the bottom lane...
He went really deep with very little health there. I mean, Bill was there to back him up, sure, and it ended up being, okay, Tiger had King 2 back away, but KO really played it kind of risky because they did not have a lot of vision.
Check out that ward down there as well. That's a prime teleport spot. Well, it would be if teleport wasn't on cooldown. Never mind. But what KO just did then there shows so much belief in both his support and his own skill. Knowing that he can go in, dodge the Boomerang Blade, maybe get some damage in through the Spell Shield, shows how confident he is in this game.
And now about a 3k gold lead currently for King 5, and really it's the turrets and CS keeping them going in that regard. Is starting to even out the bottom lane, but the jungle is really the story of that CS right now, and also Shock doing a good job wave clearing up. King 5 holding on to that lead for now, and they need to start making use of it before that Vlad gets too big for them to handle.
Like I said, they have the item to burst him down, cut his healing in half, but of course, once the Zhonya's Hourglass is picked up, that's also going to be absolutely key. He's not building it next just yet. Looks like he's on the path to the Rylai's Crystal Scepter to start slowing up the enemy team, but he's not going to have a huge amount of survivability, I mean, apart from the health and the magic resist, but at least he doesn't have the healing, right?
Yeah, well, and that is actually a good point. I mean, you say, oh, not a lot apart from all this and all that, but you're dead right, actually. The core strength of that Vlad...
There's no armor, right?
Yeah, the core strength of that Vlad in these fights is actually his ability to heal up damage he has taken, and without that, he can't quite go as aggressive as I think Artifans is really wanting.
Now,
Still trying to ramp up here.
Talking about Tigereye's siege potential, but right now, they're the ones being shoved up against their own towers. But at the same time, they've got the double Ocean Drake. They have the regeneration to survive the siege, take the poke damage, and then throw some back themselves, heal back up. And I feel like King 5, they're focusing too much on pushing these lanes, which is great, but they're leaving their AD carry all the way in the top lane by himself. He's not going to be participating in fights, which is something that King 5, they need to use their gold advantage that they do have with their AD carry.
Yeah, there's certainly something Tigereye can take advantage there. They do need to even up this gold just a little bit more. But like we said, it certainly feels like the later this game goes on, the more it starts to favor Tigereye purely because of that Vladimir. So Tigereye equally is happy to just kind of play it slow like they are now. We're seeing that again, Rare Fiction, that bottom lane, slowly pushing. Happy to wait until that turret finally drops down.
That is a really, really early Guardian Angel coming up from Raven. And when a player picks up a Guardian Angel, it usually signifies that a very important team fight is about to come up. Now, without the Dragon, and Baron not really an option for either team, I'm quite curious to see what they think is really important coming up right now, because they're starting to siege up. Maybe this is the part where they go and dive straight onto a tower and say, you can't regenerate from this.
Certainly the option on the table for King 5, and maybe they're looking to set it up in this bottom lane. A lot of resources here, and not so much vision for Tigereye in response. They are starting to return the favor, though, wheel around themselves, and help defend up this turret. And Rare Fiction will need to be careful to not overstep the mark here a little. And both teams just going to go ahead for the siege. And King 5, a lot of wave clear.
You can't poke down Tigereye, though. I've talked about this. The regeneration that comes out from the Ocean Drake buffs that they have, they can survive underneath the towers. They're going to have to dive if they want anything here at King 5. But if they dive, there's so much to be worried about. You've got the Tidal Wave, you've got even the Vengeful Maelstrom blocking a huge amount of damage in a certain area is going to keep them alive just underneath that turret. And then, of course, all the damage that comes out from Vlad. But Tigereye are letting them get little tidbits of damage on that turret every so often. Yeah,
Tigereye not so hot on the wave clear front themselves, at least not in comparison. Really, they're relying on the Boomerang Blade and the Tides of Blood as well out of Vladimir. Infernal Drake, though, spawning, and King 5 this time with a little bit more of a positional advantage over it just because of that bottom side movement. So this could be the one King 5 really need to get that team fight straight. Give themselves the confidence to go into those, because that is their win condition right now.
Bomi actually getting caught out in his own jungle. Of course, he didn't take any damage, and he got out very cleanly, but he had to use his... Well, all right, see you later, okay, Tiger, apparently.
Yeah.
So we can actually...
Looks like Shock was actually the collapse there just because the Chaos Storm just timed out on that one. So just the burst damage purely out of the Victor. That does need to be respected in these fights, by the way. As much as we talk about how Tigereye can last in those sieges and heal on up, it is still the case that Victor can burst someone out if King 5 get the right position.
And the burst must have been humongous. Flash, heal, still available for OK Tiger, both key components to surviving on an AD carry. He must have died so quickly, he had no reaction time to use those to get out of here. But enough about that. It's the Dragon, it's the Infernal Drake. This one is going to buff up your attack damage, your ability damage. Both teams need this.
And both teams want it. They're both set up for it. The teleport in from Raven, now they're committing to it.
OK
Red
Tiger
Faction doesn't need to use his yet, but OK Tiger, long way away from this fight. King 5. They can either commit to the Dragon or commit to the fight, and it's going to be the Dragon first. Now the question is, can they get out in time? It looks like they can, and that is really key for King 5 here. That Drake is probably the one that benefits them the most right now because they need to win this by fighting.
The biggest benefit, though, is making sure Tigereye did not get it. It means, of course, now they don't have their own percentage boost in damage, but they're also not stacking on an additional threat for that Elder Dragon. Now, though, King 5 are really stacking up together. They're really moving as a unit. They need to get a little bit more vision down around the targets that they're looking to take down. Raven, his teleport is down. They need to keep aware of that. They can't put pressure around the Baron just yet.
And KO helps clear up that rift stuffer. Hold on. Artifen's maybe a little bit caught out. Bill does get bubbled up. The Chaos Storm is there in the wave just to stop the follow-ups. They are going to be able to get out to... just the one ultimate burned out of Brawler. And that was the Chaos Storm out from Shock. So Peel not so much there. The burst damage not there from Shock. That is quite significant for Tigereye. They don't have to be quite so afraid for OK Tiger right now.
But no tidal wave from Brawler. That's just the key thing right now. It's going to allow them to team fight and die much easier, but what's going on here?
They just want to go for it. Artifen's again, he's going in deep, and they've caught up Shock. He can't deal damage if he's bubbled up, and the damage is there because the rest has been taking so much from Artifen's that they can't commit as Shock gets picked out, taken down. Now they're onto Raven, forced to flash. Artifen's, he maybe wants a bit more, but he knows he can't go too deep. But now with the numerical advantage, Tigereye can absolutely siege with Victor's wave clear off the table.
Of course, KO can bring out some wave clear, but it's too dangerous to bring close to the tower. They're still going in.
Raven has gone deep, and the rest of Tigereye went deep themselves to stop the follow-up. Raven takes a chunk. Artifen's, he can heal that back up. Raven, he's going back in. He knows he's got a GA, but if he can't find a kill, what good is that going to do him? He's just trying to buy time, but he's going to get taken up, drop down. There he goes. Raven in a grave. Artifen's just zoning out under the turret. Bill nearly gets picked up at the back end. Yeah, they've had to balance this juggle the aggro. They've had to make sure they don't take too much damage from the turrets. They are going to back away. Don't get the turret, do get a couple of kills, and Tigereye can certainly walk away happy with that.
King 5, though, they kept their mid-lane turret alive. That's the tier 2 turret, the furthest one, usually taken away first. Just cheeky KO there, cancelling some recalls. But the fact that they've still got the very first tower in their mid lane, it provides so much control. Like we just saw, they were able to retreat only across half the map. If that tower was down, for example, straight after that team fight, if the same situation happens, then King 5 would have so much further to retreat from.
Has been an opportunity to start to even up the gold a little bit more. It was starting to slip more in favor of King 5, but now we're back to about a 4.5k. Still in King 5's favor. Tigereye, they can keep finding good fights and good catches like that if King 5 overextend. Tigereye can certainly put themselves well ahead as they come into the later parts of the game.
I like the pickup from OK Tiger, grabbing that Hex Drinker as well, making sure he's not going to be able to be burst down straight away by Shock, getting that magic damage shield, going to be very, very key. And of course, Sivir is a champion that already has a little bit of built-in protection with that spell shield herself. so it's going to be quite hard to focus on that right now. Bill is a little bit far away from the rest of his team, and Rare Fiction could teleport in and force this fight.
He's got the teleport advantage. Looks like that's actually what Tigereye want to do. They maybe found Shock. Bomi going deep onto that, forced out the Chaos Storm, certainly started off. Now Artifence is going deep. What can he find? Because Little Decoy can only kill so much. Here's going to be the teleport to come in. The rest of Tigereye a little bit low. Bill is going to be ready on the collapse, though, for sure. And Raven, he's going to take this opportunity to put some pressure now in the bottom lane as Tigereye were forced to back off, couldn't quite find anything, and did end up committing that teleport.
Both teams using a large amount of cooldowns, ultimates all across the board, a flash here and there, a few more flashes for King 5. So both of them going to back off, take the safe option. But it's important to note which team is going to get the vision and which team is going to get a few more CS. King 5 are getting the Rift Scuttler, they're getting wards around Baron. They're really setting up for a late game play. 35 minutes into the game, there's going to be Elder Dragon, there's going to be Baron Nashor on the table. Both teams need to be aware and warding these areas.
Tigereye with the extra sweeper though on their side have the tools to really swing the vision game back in their favor if they can get a bit of positional advantage. They really sorely need that mid turret to fall though, and you can see they're just trying to figure out how they can set up that siege. It doesn't have much health left, and once that's down, they can be a bit more proactive about that vision themselves.
Something we saw from the last team fight as well was Atrophine's getting very, very deep into the enemy team. He still doesn't have his Zhonya's Hourglass. He's going to pick it up fairly soon. He shouldn't be too far away from it, but just the fact that he can go in there and get another 2 seconds of invulnerability. But who cares about all that? Because what's happening here, Bill?
Yeah, never mind invulnerability. You might just die if you're Brawler. They are going to be able to pull out the peel. Bomi helping up with that one. And meanwhile, Raven and Rare Fiction were just kind of wet noodling in the bottom lane. Bomi, though, that's a really nice gravity field. And Shock able to pick that one up. Bomi a little bit too long there trying to stall it out. Bomi isn't the one that should be doing that, by the way. It really needs to be Rare Fiction, and he was busy in the bottom lane. Now, King 5 have a great position to set up a 1-3-1 or pressure out the Baron with Shoulder Raven in the bottom lane.
Spotted out by so many wards on the way, activating the scanner before they caught the ward like a little bit into the Tigereye jungle. They're trying to control the vision, but missing that ward is actually very, very crucial.
Yeah, that's
going to spot out Bush Jukes. Now they know that Baron is definitely being fought here right now. They need to move in. Teleport not there for Rare Fiction.
Yeah, Tigereye, they just need to kind of go in for it. They're going to go ahead and commit. Now, Rare Fiction is still away. They're looking for the end. They know it's kind of dangerous to collapse onto this team comp.
They've got to go.
They need to go now if they're going to go at all. Artifence, he looked for the way in, but he didn't find it, and King 5 are going to be able to pick up the Baron. They might want to try and run down now as Raven just dives onto Artifence. Oh my gosh, he gets burst to die hell. He does not have the Zhonya's either. He barely gets out. Rare Fiction has gone deep now to stall out the rest of the team. Artifence has found one because KO just went far too deep there. Now Raven getting dropped down. Build the focus. He falls over. Now Shock on the retreat. Rare Fiction going to keep him stunned up one more time to take him out. They got the Baron, but they lost everything else.
So smart by Tigereye as well. Almost getting caught out for it, but allowing the Baron to go as late as they possibly can. They're going to pick up a tower or two on the way from that, but letting the Baron go is usually seen as just far too safe of a play. You need to take the risk sometimes, but they waited for Rare Fiction to arrive, and Artifines bought them the time and dropped everyone down below half health.
They're going to get more than just a turret or two off this. Look at the respawn timers. They've got 2 oceans and a mountain. They're getting an inhibitor. They could even get a Nexus turret. Shock is still 30 seconds away. And
this could be
it. They actually could do it. They've got the pushing power and certainly the damage. They're already starting on the first one. I don't know if they can get both because KO and Raven are going to be up, but they can certainly get one. Maybe the second one leaves the Nexus exposed. If they can even get a pick here, they can definitely do it. But Artifen's dropping. That could spell disaster. And actually the respawn timers could be bad and there. In the other way as well. Bomi's going to stay and get the turret while the rest of his team backs out. So that is 2 deaths now. The rest of the team able to back away. Forcing out the way. Okay, Tiger. Raven once in the bubble goes wide. Rare Fiction though, he's going to stall it up. Again, a sacrificial lamp, and Raven knows he can't find it. Tigereye do get out, but that was a little bit dicey.
They're keeping him away from recalling. Even staggering the death timer that much longer is going to be a much bigger window of when Tigereye can't fight on even terms. And even terms during Elder Dragon are key. But Elder Dragon is not on the mind of King 5 at all. They want turrets, they want gold, they want victory.
And now going to be able to rotate up to the top side to pick up one of those turrets, keeping a couple of members in mid as well. Turrets for themselves again Tigereye. They will be able to get the respawns here, but they will lose a few structures. Again, coming off fairly even. I did like their move. I did like the fact that they stayed, but unfortunately they'd lost a bit too much just because of how it played out. They lost a few too many members. I think Artifen's going down was the key one. And now Tigereye losing a lot of structures. They actually don't have Rare Fiction for a while here. They're going to need to commit to a fight soon. And actually Decoy, he's still got a Baron buff on him, right? They can still do a lot of work to these structures with these minions. Hold on a second. King 5, they might just be able to pressure out if they can get a pick here while they've still got a numerical advantage. They go for their second inhibitor. They're just going to go for it. Oh, they could do it here. Artifen's, he's going to keep the damage up just to ward them away. And yes, smart call. King 5 going to back off. Nothing more quite going to come out of it, but they do get the two
they're
inhibitors. Going in.
They're keen.
Yeah, now here's Tigereye wanting to do the same thing in response. And the teleport from Rare Fiction. Shock! No! He's in trouble! He's totally caught out. And Raven totally zoned out as well, trying to go deep on OK Tiger, but Brona's going to keep his AD carry safe now as Raven gets collapsed upon. The GA popped him without shock there for the wave clear. Now Raven dropping down. Respawn time is a massive Tigereye. They can barrel down the mid lane with that open inhibitor and take the game right here, right now.
This is a 5v3. King 5 are going to have to pull out a miracle if they want to keep this Nexus alive. Huge wave. Yes, you have to answer it. Yes, there's a very long run to the Nexus for Tigereye. We do have to keep in mind. But that is 40 seconds until Raven is alive. And Shock's still 30 seconds away. They need to act now to get the Nexus.
And it's only a Nexus. They have a ton of damage here out of this team. I guarantee this is going to be it. And if it's not, it's because King 5 pulled out something truly special. KO, he's already looking for the damage. They're not even committing to the fight. They're just going to go right in deep. They're going to deal with little Decoy first. Now they're going to get right on top of the Nexus. Bill, there's only so much he can do. He is just one man with no plan. KO gets dropped down. He's the last one there. The respawns will not happen. Bill forced to go back onto the well. Actually, no, he's trying to go back into delay, but it doesn't matter because the Nexus is going to drop. Tigereye take out the first game.
And that is absolutely key.
Wow.
This now, of course, it's putting them on the path to get a 2-0 or at the very worst a 2-1. But the key thing for King 5 is that the most points they can get from the series is 2, not 4, not 1. Well, I mean, I guess they can still get 1, but they can't get any more.
Want to get just 1.
They can't get any more than 2 points. They're set on a morale deficit, of course, unless they're absolutely iron will with their morale. But in any case, of course, Tigereye are going to be feeling great about that. Well on the path to a 2-0.
And the thing is, we talked about these two teams. It's the first seed from the Open qualifiers taking on the third seed. So there were maybe some questions about whether or not Tigereye could pull it out here because they weren't able to pull it out in that qualifier, but they totally did. In fact, these two teams came off really, really even. We saw that right at the end. And Tigereye were at a goal deficit for a lot of that. They played to their strengths. They waited for the Vlad to come online, and then they closed it out. So Tigereye, they've certainly gone away and are looking in much better shape than they were after that qualifier. So good news for them so far, at least.
What I saw from both teams as well, which is great for the New Zealand Championship, is tight shot calling from both teams. You saw how much control it takes to call off a Baron. Let the other team take Baron, because that's huge. But they were able to do it. They were able to make a controlled call like that. Tigereye, absolutely key in their victory. But King 5 did a lot of the same thing.
And we will be seeing them again in just a few moments here. And that is Tigereye taking out the win in Game 1. We're going to be coming back in just a few moments with Game 2 to see if Tigereye can close it out for the 4-0 or to see if King 5 can maybe put one back on the board.
The New Zealand Gaming Championships League of Legends Premiership is presented by Let's Play Live, Australasia's new home of esports at letsplay.live. Logitech G, bringing you winning gaming devices. Mice, keyboards, headsets and controllers. Game with passion, win with science. Logitech G. Twitch, the world's leading social video platform and community for gamers. Twitch.tv. The NZGC is powered by Playtech. Technology at play. Playtech is the #1 custom PC system builder in New Zealand. Visit playtech.co.nz. Players stay at Adina Apartment Hotel at Britomart, Auckland. Book today at adinahotels.com. Adina, official accommodation of the NZGC.
And welcome back to day 1, match 1 of the NZGC. We're going to be getting into Game 2 between King 5 and Tigereye. Going to take another look at these teams after that first win was taken out there by Tigereye.
So just in case you're just tuning in now, or maybe you've forgotten, King 5 against Tigereye. King 5's lineup, though, looking very, very strong. A little bit shaky, though, in the end there. But it's going to be Raven in the top lane again, Bill in the jungle, Shock in the mid lane, KO and Lil Decoy for your AD carry and support down in the bottom lane. Like I said before, Raven was the guy to watch, but I'd like to say KO pulled out a lot of skillful play.
Yeah, really came up big, and their opponents, Tigereye, already taking up a win. They, of course, consist of Rare Fiction in the top, Foamy in the jungle, Artifins in that mid lane. Okay, Tiger had 80 carry with Roller in support. And we talked about star players out of King 5. Well, Tigereye, they just looked consistent all across the board. They really looked like they were moving as one, and it really played to their advantage there. Like I said, able to take out that win.
Well, let's waste no time, guys. Let's go straight into game number 2. We're already in the lobby. We've already got a few bans coming out. Tigereye already one game up. They've swapped sides, so you're going to see Tigereye on the blue side and King 5 on the red side.
Already Lee Sin again being taken away from Bomi there. Definitely a smart call. And Yasuo as well. So fairly similar bans, actually.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly the same so far. So unless that last ban is something different. And I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe want to take away, the Vladimir from Tigereye. But that leaves some new stuff open now. And
of course,
oh, no, nice. Karma being picked up by Tigereye.
With the bans being exactly the same as last game, Aurelia's up again, like we just saw. Karma is still up. Nidalee can be played by Bill. Again, comfort champions. Nami's still up. So we might see players back on their comfort champions. But of course, King 5, while they looked close in that game, they have two options. They can go for the exact same thing and try and execute it better, or go for something completely different.
And Bill already hovering over that Nidalee. I would like to see him on that Nidalee again because he's so great at it, to be honest. The pressure he exerted, the CS lead he got was honestly what kept King 5 up, even as Tigereye were picking up dragons. So really strong on that champion. But it was answered, right? It was answered by Bomi. But, this is a smart, smart pickup. So the Aurelia was actually open this time around again. But they're going to pick up Echo for Raven in that top lane to take it away from Bomi so that he doesn't have that high-pressure jungler to answer Bill.
So what are we going to see come out from Bomi this time? We saw him hover a few champions. Rek'Sai, surprisingly not played. Both junglers actually going for more of a comfort-style pick. But Rek'Sai, of course, was going to be a great, just generalist jungler. Opens up so many ganking paths before level 6. But again, what are we going to see? Gragas falling out of favor just a little bit after the recent nerfs. Elise was hovered as well in the champion select in the last match, so perhaps we might see that come out too, but still taking all the time they need to go for these next two picks.
And I do like this. They're taking their time. With that Echo off the board, they need to reassess what they can and can't do, and I like what they're doing here. They're not going to try and go for the same thing as last time. They're going to shake it up completely. They're going for the Rek'Sai in the jungle and picking up the Shen, which was what was banned out in place of that Vladimir last time. So a really, really strong split pusher and has so much global presence as well. And Raven, in a way, gets punished for taking the Echo just to steal it away from Bomi because he's now in a bit of a rough matchup.
It's a similar pick to last game where they picked a Maokai to answer the Raven in the top lane. Again, Shen is, well, they probably would have picked Shen last game if it wasn't banned, just for the same exact reason.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're going to go for it twice, like you said. And with that Rek'Sai, they already look to do a slightly different thing here, right? As much as Echo had a lot of mobility, the Rek'Sai, he's going to be stronger on the rotational and the pick game. And with the Shen to follow that up, I feel like Tigereye are going to direct themselves to a very pick-heavy comp here. But yeah, this is how you answer it. You bring Braum.
Braum, of course, bringing a huge amount of crowd control, an absolute mountain of a man is going to leave you stunned. Of course, he's got a stun on his passive.
Well, and he doesn't wear a shirt, so you're just so wowed by his six-pack that you can't go any further.
Six-pack? That's like an 18-pack.
You're like, how could I scratch this flawless man?
In any case, of course, like I said, crowd control is key for Braum, and that's exactly what it's going to bring. Also, matching it up with a Caitlyn in the bottom lane, a lot of synergy there. Not the fastest attacker to stack up those concussive blows, but at the same time, long range, safety is going to be able to let you do it consistently and in a prolonged fight.
And this is King 5 as well, going for something a little bit different here. They are kind of looking to take something that's a little bit more siege-oriented with a bit of rotational power, but that Caitlyn isn't super kitted out for that. In response, though, Tigereye, this is how you round out this team comp. You take Jinx for that fast turret destruction. You take Talia or Talia, depending on who you are and where you're from, for that rotational power and also the pick potential. And Tigereye, they're going to come out swinging in this game because they know exactly what kind of game they want to play.
Hovering the Janna, I somehow don't think that's going to be
Not so much.
I mean, mid-lane Janna, there was a Civ HD video guide where he...
I would like to see...
mid-lane.
I would like to see the Victor come out here again because of the wave clear it provides, but it's actually going to be a Syndra, so a bit of pick in response. So it looks like King 5 are going, all right, you might have a pick game, but we're going to go for something that's even more bursty than what you're bringing to the table with your pick. So if they do catch you, you are probably going to die. So that kind of takes that option off for Tigereye. They're really going to have to out-rotate here, Tigereye.
Another thing to talk about for King 5, yes, they've got a lot of pick and burst, but the other thing that makes it such a great, well-rounded pick composition is the range that they bring. Syndra hits that long-range stun. Suddenly you're hit by a Nidalee Spear, a Piltover Peacemaker from Caitlyn as well. That's a huge amount of burst already, and if it's not enough, well, we'll just send Echo to clean it up.
And make no mistake, there are some tanks here, but the rest of the team is actually pretty squishy. So if you can find that on the Jinx, who is relatively immobile, or even on the Talia. In fact, I'll be honest, even on the Reg side, does not have a ton of escapes. You can absolutely get that burst down. We're going to be talking about this in a little bit more depth, though, after these brief words from our sponsors.
The NZGC is brought to you by our incredible technology and media partners.
All right, and welcome back. We're going to take a bit more of a lengthy look now at this pick ban screen as we work our way through about 2 minutes remaining of delay. The teams have hit the rift, and we'll be joining them in just a moment. First thing I want to address is that mid lane, because it's completely different, not just in the champion picks, but how they play off against one another. What do you feel about that?
Well, for King 5, with the Syndra pickup as well, the thing that makes it really key is obviously the pick potential, right? That's exactly what you do. You bring out a lot of harass in level 1 with Syndra. It has a lot of spammable damage. But the key thing is once level 4 rolls around, once level 4 rolls around and you've got that long range stun, and you've got Bill, he's sorted out his jungle, he's cleared a few camps, Nidalee brings a huge amount of damage to an already stunned target who's going to get burst down, and this sort of style just gets even better once level 6 rolls around for the Syndra. Huge burst right away.
Yeah, it's something they had the potential to do last game, but it's like that on steroids here, right? If they catch you, you do die. And this time, Tigereye aren't actually taking a comp that kind of counters out that really pick-oriented style. So that's something King 5 can absolutely play to here. And again, that's going to come down to vision control. Last game, it was Tigereye with that vision control early, and a lot of it was because of Bill's Nidalee. So I expect we're going to see that again, which means Tigereye, they need to be prepared for it, especially if they want to be playing the rotational game themselves.
It's absolutely crucial to have vision against the pick composition. You can't walk around a corner into, say, a bush, or even just something that's out of line of sight, and then get stunned up by Syndra, especially against this composition. You've got, like I said before, the Spear, the Piltover Peacemaker. You'll die straight away. Vision is key, but even more key than that is putting it down safely. The jungler and the support need to move together.
Yeah, I do like the Braum pickup, though, for exactly that reason, at least as far as King 5 are concerned. Because, make no mistake, there is still a lot of pick potential from Tigereye here, right? If you do make the wrong move, Rek'Sai can get onto you fairly easily with a knock-up of his own. There's a Shen that can follow up whoever it happens to be that picks you. And then Talia, with that Weaver's Wall, can come in to the fight from a really long range and also lock off your escape. So, exactly, warding safety, super key. And the Braum at least buys some time to create escape. So I really like that over the squishy support that was available in the form of, well, just about everything else, right?
Yeah, well, Alistair. He's not squishy.
No.
No.
But not going to be milked this game.
Another key thing is the Shen. And I'm going to bring it back to the pick style composition that King 5 are bringing. Shen answers that so well. If you do mess up, if you haven't watered a bush and you walk into some dark areas, then, well, you get stunned up and you're feeling pretty sad. But if your Shen is on top of things, if Rare Fiction can drop that Stand United and get that massive shield and teleport across the map to save you, that answers one of the huge strengths coming out from King 5.
Exactly, and to that vein as well, it means there's a lot more pressure on King 5 to close out these kills when they do find the catches. They do have the damage to do that. They absolutely can do it, but they need to be really clean on their execution. There's so little room for error when there is a Shen against you and you're playing a pick comp. And also, the Talia does exactly the same thing in a different kind of way, in that she can kind of get into the fight. She changes the shape of the fight, bringing that Weaver's Wall into the mix. So that too just increases the pressure for King 5 to close out picks when they get them. And then they need to retreat quickly, right? So they can do it. This is absolutely the team comp that can do it, but they cannot afford to slip, or Tigereye can get something back and really start running away with the game.
The key thing about Tigereye, though, is that they rely so much on one style, right? They've got the pick style, and then, well, I guess a little bit of wave clear, some control during the team fights, some split pushing power if the Echo goes well in the top lane for Raven. But in any case, it's over for analysis time for now. We're moving into the Rift, and our cameraman giving us a great job of showing us the map.
And both of these teams going to be coming head-to-head now. We will see who executes on those win conditions better, as Tigereye take on King 5 once again. Tigereye looking to get that second win, secure the 4 points for themselves. King 5 looking to, at the very least, mitigate their losses. There is the chance that they get the 2 wins to take the 3 points, or at the very least get the 1 win back and have a minimum of 1 point back on the board for themselves. You do not want to walk away from tonight with a 0 if you are King 5, and both teams, to that vein, are going to play it out very safely, very defensively to start off.
Need to keep an eye on that bottom lane.
All right, relax, Rek'Sai.
That was
it's going to be okay.
Need to keep an eye on that bottom lane, because like we saw last time, both duos messing around in the early game, looking for that jungle harass. But it looks like both teams are turned on, particularly Tigereye, really keeping that vision ready. Does have Karma right on the entrance to the jungle on the other red side, ready to move down. Look at taking the Krugs, but they've got to know King 5 are going to try the same thing as last game.
You can guarantee they are. And actually, it's looking like Tigereye are going to be the ones who want to go ahead with the harass.
Great.
Yeah. Really nice move here. And it's going to be answered already.
Punished really hard for that,
by King 5. Yeah, they know that Tigereye can do that, right? They're not going to fall prey to the same thing that they pulled on Tigereye last game, especially with that Karma in the mix. Yes, there you go. Our defense is actually going to start off by stealing away just a little Raptor as he comes into lane to start CSing up.
That can be pretty key, actually, because, of course, experience and breakpoints in the jungle, especially for a Nidalee, you need to hit those levels, and that one little minion could actually be the difference between getting level 2 and getting level 3 for Bill. So, while it looks small, while it looks like 9 gold, the experience is also key for that.
And now both teams just going to be hitting lanes, fairly stock standard to start off with. I like Shock's responses to the pressure already coming out from Art fans. He's going to be able to shove up that lane. And both teams, like we said, just want to play it safe early on. And it's all going to come down to which jungler exerts the right pressure in the right places, I feel.
Of course, Rek'Sai brings a lot of interesting new gank paths. It's a really big tunnel you can get over some really fat walls. Just to, especially in the side lanes where you can get behind the turret against the enemy laner. We might even see something like that happen fairly shortly. I mean, it's not the right side for Bomi to do it, but of course it's such an easy path to move up around and gank. But he's got his eyes set around the middle lane. Syndra, not a huge amount of escapes.
Not at all. I mean, there is the flash available, but even blowing that flash is key. I actually like that Shock did take Ghost, as in fact did Artifen, so a bit more escapability against that high-speed Nidalee, but let's take a look at Bomi's positioning here, because Shock could get really, really doved upon here if he's not careful.
Artifiends as well, looking like he's very, very scared, and as he should be. There's a lot of damage that can come out from Shock. But talking about that, Shock on point, he's going to be able to get out of there.
Yeah, running towards his friendly jungler Bill, going to be there to help him out. Actually, hold on, Bill!
Whoa!
Whoa! Relax, Bill. He wanted to turn it around. I like the damage that he got, and he is going to force Artifiends back. Blew the flash as well, so good move there, but Bill did blow his own flash. Means a lot more, though, on Artifiends. He's going to need to play that lane a lot safer now, because the Ghost doesn't help him get away from the Nidalee all that much.
You can definitely bet Bill is going to return to that mid lane. Like I talked about
You can bet your bottom dollar, Bill.
Ah, because it's like a dollar bill.
Yeah, but
yes.
we don't. Wait, I mean, we don't even have those in New Zealand, so.
But the key, we don't. The key thing though is that Shock, like I said during Champion Select, is going to rely on Nidalee to come in and finalize that burst damage. Of course, Syndra brings a lot if she can get that stun throughout that ultimate, but Bill will definitely secure that and get free kills, free gold for both assassin-style champions.
Now, both teams again wanting to keep it nice and quiet. Bill making those aggressive moves throughout the jungle like he so loves to do to get that CS advantage. He is actually currently a bit behind though, behind Bomi, and when Bomi hits level 6 he's going to be able to return to the jungle quicker. So if he can stay ahead now, he can actually have a complete reverse of what happened last game. He does need to answer some of Bill's movements though.
Bomi does need to recall at some point and pick up that Tiamat, just to make that farming that little bit much faster. See if you can do that at some point, because as you can see, hasn't recalled yet. Despite having that CS lead, probably a big reason for it. Bill recalled twice, actually, after exerting a little bit of pressure. Bomi hasn't done the same thing, though. He hasn't forced a flash out of the enemy mid lane.
At least not for now. He is starting to path around to that area to try and maybe get up into that Raptor camp, or at the very least sniff out what vision might be down for King 5. But he's not quite going to go deep here, and Raven actually roaming all the way down to clear out the ward just placed by Bomi, so keeping Bomi in the dark.
This is great as well, because he noticed that Rare Fiction was looking to freeze the lane a little bit, so he knew that, well, it's a Shen. He's not going to push very hard back against you in any case, but
certainly not.
Still keeping the wave still over halfway across towards his side of the map. Raven buying the time to go down, drop a pink ward of all things as well. It's going to keep the vision there forever, or at least until it's found. But also catching that extra ward, a little bit of bonus gold for his investment.
Because of the way Juggler's path, he's not going to be there for a while to clear up that pink ward. Bill, on the other hand, is in the area,
used his dash.
and he's even wanting to go in for a lane. And yeah, Red Fiction has used the dash. Bill wants to follow up. The flash is there for Red Fiction. He is going to be able to get away, but Bill blowing another flash on this map right now. Here comes, though, the answer from Bomi. Stun out for Shock, but now Artifans, does not quite get the knockback. And just a bit of smooth movement there by Shock. Had to blow the Ghost, but holds on crucially to that flash.
That's the thing, though, when you go in and gank a Syndra. I say, yes, Syndra doesn't have a whole lot of escapes short of her summoner spells, but it is the, if you run in a straight line, you're going to get caught by that stun.
Yeah, what's Artifans looking to set up here? Because he's gone right past the Dragon Pit. I think he wants to punish this bottom lane.
Oh, the wall!
Yeah, and Bomi's going to be there to follow up. They've already stopped it. It's going to be flashes blown for sure. Little decoy. He's have to hop away over the wall, but he's right into the jaws of Bomi, or indeed the claws. The rest of the follow-up is there, but not quite the full damage. They could not quite close out the kills. Really smart rotation, and this gives them a lot of priority over the Dragon if they want to take it now, because Bill is miles away.
And flashes are down for both KO and Lil Decoy. The AD carry and support, crucial in these Dragon fights, but Tigereye not looking to take the Dragon
for another
just
dive.
yet. Kills, and this would also mean the first turret gold, that initial demolition that is so important to get for teams this early on.
And they can't quite find either. Because they wanted to go for the second dive, the whole thing got spotted out, and they ended up losing the window they had to take Dragon. So actually in the end, despite a lot of resources committed there, Tigereye didn't find anything, and King 5 were even able to recover some of that CS deficit in the jungle and open out a lead in the mid lane.
Tigereye looking a little bit greedy there, thinking they can get some dives. Not quite able to pick it up. Raven actually had to use his ultimate there, so he's going to be a little bit vulnerable, actually, against a Shen of all things too. Yeah,
he might want to blow his teleport to get back to lane, but honestly, with the Shen at level 6, he's got that Stand United, and Raven needs to keep his teleport up to be able to answer that. So both of these top laners need to play it quite cautiously. Rare Fiction, he can't dive too deep, and Raven, he can't let himself get
He's got Bill coming up, but he's going to be there in time. Bomi is hanging around, maybe paying a little bit too much attention to that mid lane though.
Not spotted at all. There will be a ward to spot him out eventually, though.
Bill's almost out of mana.
Yeah, Bill actually kind of needs to back out here. I mean, Rare Fiction, he can't go 2 versus 1, sure, but he does still have Bomi in the area who can get into the fight nice and quick with the tunnels he currently has set up.
Great warding, though, by Rare Fiction. Moving forward, putting that ward down by the Krugs. Going to keep that vision up so he knows if Bill is trying to sneak in and cheat him out of a free kill against Raven. Raven, though, he's managed to heal back up with a few charges of that potion. Still holding on to that teleport, though. Like you said before, so crucial against Shen, who can just naturally teleport across the map.
Bomi now handing blue buff over to Artifans. Going to be able to take that to the mid lane, maybe start bullying out the Syndra. At a bit of a CS disadvantage, Shock
A little bit out of range.
Yeah. He got the stun, but yeah, not quite follow up there. So good work by Shock actually to see that movement. Now it's just blows being traded. We won't really see any kills come down until the junglers intervene. And Arcane does have that flashback up, so Bill is going to have to do a lot of work to get kill pressure back in that mid lane.
Raven really needs to respect the matchup in the top lane against that Shen, especially now that he's got that Barmy Cinder, able to actually push now. But importantly, look who he's got.
Whoa! Yep, Barmy ready for it, right on in. Quick as a whip, Red Fiction. He kept the pressure up for so long, and they just spotted Bill out going to the bottom side. By you see the little pink ward in his bottom side jungle, so they knew it could be totally unanswered. The dragon is available, but actually King 5 aren't really set up for it. They have some vision, but there's going to be a response from Bomi, so they can't just go for it, right? There's going to be a fight.
Bill maybe stayed a little bit too long. Did he get it? No, he didn't get it.
No.
The key reason that they didn't go for the dragon as a response to the members in the top lane, like you said, of course, the ultimate coming out from Bomi allows them to get across the map.
Jet ski.
The jet ski. But of course, KO and Lil Decoy were trapped against their tower. They couldn't come over and help, so not really a numbers advantage at all.
Super Mega Death Rocket did just get committed and went completely wide, so that's now not available for the fight. This is going to have to be a retreat for King 5. And there isn't a whole lot of catch potential just yet. Oh, hold on, Brawler. Needs to be careful here. Now the rest of King 5 want to roam up, because this has become a bit of an extended brawl, right? They're just poking and trading blows back and forth, and now with that Super Mega Death Rocket off the table, King 5 might want to commit to the pick. Or back out. That's what Bill's doing. Never mind what I just said.
He's heading back down. He might...
He can't decide.
Get some control around that area.
They've got the vision.
But they do have a ton of vision around that area, and the important thing though is denying that vision. They only have one scanner, so they can't keep Tigereye in the dark around the dragon, and that's what they need to do with their composition. They need to keep them in the dark, pick them as they come around to try and get any kind of wards at all after being denied for so long, and then get a free kill and take that into a dragon. But with only one scanner, that's pretty hard.
Hard indeed. Rare Fiction.
Oh, cheeky.
Yeah, he wants to go ahead and sneak it in. Might actually work out for him, but he doesn't have a heap of health. He's going to need something to collapse, and that's going to be the bottom lane. And now that's going to be known by Tigereye that bottom lane has left, so they can actually go in for a bit of a collapse if they want. They don't quite want it just yet, though.
They needed someone that actually brings damage, not the Braum. Of course, he's bringing the tankiness, but it's giving enough time for Tigereye to realize what's going on. But
yeah, they don't answer
They brought up the damage, and now, because of that, King 5 able to pick up the Infernal Drake. Yeah. And look what's coming up next. It's another Infernal Drake.
I feel like Tigereye were expecting that to not happen. And then when King 5 did commit, they went, oh, okay. And they weren't actually thinking about having to make a response play. And so they didn't. And they've kind of lost a bit for that. The goal is still kind of even. But that's because Tigereye are that one kill up. They could have kept the lead
he's
had they answered. But yeah, here it is now.
Late.
Oh, the Q does go wide. The Weaver's Wall is here as well. Raven, he's been getting forced to flash, but the bump is back. And they follow it up. Artifens sniping him out with the Q. A really nice knock up there onto that rocktastic minefield, as I like to call it.
That's incredible.
Nice pickup.
2-0 over to Tigereye right now, but the goal still relatively even. They're holding towers. No towers have actually been killed, so we've got to look at where is that gold coming from. And honestly, it's got to be the CS lead. And just Rare Fiction in the top lane, got to say it, he's absolutely destroying Raven right now.
Yeah.
Keeping him on lockdown.
No two ways about that. He can't really pressure the turret himself though, but this is going to be Raven's teleport blown, so Tigereye now have the opportunity to make some aggressive moves and to start setting some things up. They do need vision control for it, which they currently don't have, but that teleport is a massive cooldown. They've got plenty of time to set up the vision and then set up a play.
Of course, even faking getting caught out would work here. With the Stand United, I talked about it in Champion Select. If you're ready for it, you can survive any pick that comes out from King 5 just because of Stand United. Teleport going to be used to match Raven, but like we said, Shen and his natural teleport across the map is going to keep him competitive and give the, well, teleport advantage. You know the quotation marks there?
Here's
teleport
the
advantage.
retreat now in the bottom lane. As they saw Little Decoy coming down, didn't necessarily know where Bill was. They didn't want to get caught out. Got some good damage on the turret, but no turrets dropping just yet. That initial demolition gold still somewhere on this map.
Very important to pick that up. And if possible, put it on one guy. Put it on Rare Fiction up in the top lane. As we can see, he's still pushing down Raven, keeping him locked against that turret. And it's going to drop eventually. If Rare Fiction can get that global gold, or the local gold, sorry, all on himself, that's massive and will put him up into the split push advantage.
Bill roaming down to the bottom lane. Tigereye backed off when they didn't know where Bill was, which was the smart move, and now they know exactly where Bill is. So they're just going to stay backed off, stay defensive, and nothing going to come of it. Bill wasting a bit of time there, and again, Tigereye have the option to go really proactive here.
Okay, Tiger and Brawler both bring a lot of wave clear, so they can keep the turret alive, even against the Caitlyn. Raven, though, almost set up a trap there.
Nearly set it up, but Rare Fiction, he was able to get on out from that. But here's the trap being set up.
So smart.
The other way around. They're just waiting for Raven to maybe overcommit a little bit with that phase dive, but you can see the pings have come out. They know that Artifiend is actually positioning to get a Weaver's Wall up to the top lane. They're just waiting on that cooldown, so still a bit of a window, and Raven's smartly backing way off.
Definitely don't want to get caught out by the same trick twice in a row. Because always got to watch out for not just Bomi, but Artifiend as well. We've seen it several times. He walls across the map, cuts off escapes. Raven reading that perfectly. Does need a little bit more vision, though, around his side of the map to catch out any jungler, mid-laner movements, even getting wards in his own lane, just in those bushes, to catch out Bomi would be crucial.
I do like this response now from Bill. He knows how aggressive Rare Fiction has been playing, and there isn't a heap of vision. He's actually going in the one place that does have vision, so now he's going to get spotted out, and Rare Fiction can just kind of play safe for a little while. But even then, I don't know that Rare Fiction actually dies to the combined efforts of Raven and Bill. They don't really have the damage there.
Is he going to get that pink ward?
He hasn't noticed it. He's going all the way into mid lane now.
Yeah, it's crucial to check those bushes, just because having a pink ward there he is, there we are. Look at that circle of vision right there that Bill could have denied.
It's totally untouched. Tigereye, they have that control up there, and they're keeping this gold lead alive as well. Bomi getting that scuttle grab around that dragon. Now they do not want to let King 5 get 2 Infernal Drakes. They do need control over this bottom side.
Having 2 Infernal Drakes just giving you a massive percentage boost in damage. Bomi actually going kind of deep into the enemy jungle has been spotted out, and very smartly the King 5 bot lane have kept their bushes behind the turret all warded up. Because of course with their turret low, they know dives are on the table, and here they are.
Bomi just swept, so he thinks they don't know, but they definitely do. They're already on the retreat. Now Bill here for the answer. Nothing going to come out of this one, and Tigereye spending a little bit of time for no gain here.
And they've brought Bill down as well. They're really trying hard to not give up the initial demolition gold there. They can't let that fall into the hands of Tigereye, who are 2-0 up. The gold is even. They can't afford to have a disadvantage right now.
Yeah, they do not want to let King 5 blow that gold lead wide open. And so there's
Bomi.
Bomi. Yeah, he wanted to look for it, but Shock sniffed it out well in advance. And there wasn't even any vision. That was just pure gamer sense. He knew that Bomi had just left the bottom lane. Something was going to be cooking up. Raven
so much damage onto Raven.
Rare Fiction Raven at this top lane, it's just not looking hot for Raven.
He's finally got his teleport back, but Bomi's still keeping an eye on that bottom lane, but it's still going to be warded up.
Yeah.
The other key thing about why they need that turret to stay alive has got to be the dragon control, but Bomi, he's stuck in.
Oh, he's gone in deep, and there's going to be the Shen coming in on top of it. They can't go deep in this turret. The Talia can't join this one, but they've already got the taunt on Little Decoy. A teleport's going to come in for Raven, though, and Little Decoy was able to flash out. They can't let themselves get collapsed upon here, but there's no one to get in behind them with the pincer because of the positioning of that teleport. There were no... actually, there was a ward behind them, but they didn't want to commit to that one, and King 5, again, committing a lot of resources, getting away from it, and Raven blew his teleport, while Rare Fiction only blew the Sand United.
So he can teleport back to lane if he wants to shove in that turret. They didn't get the turret in the bottom lane, which again, key. They haven't got that first turret gold yet, but because of the retreat, look at that dragon right now.
Raven's not here. They could do this. They could absolutely collapse here. King 5, they've got the Weaver's Wall as well to lock King 5 into the pit here. Tigereye, if they want to do it, they have to go now. Bomi, he wants to get a position, and King 5, they know they need to back off, and they got the range out of KO. Oh! Nice one from Bomi. Snipes it away. Bill gets low. Bomi needs to back out, though, lest KO sweep him up.
Oh, Bomi!
No, he wants to go in because he knows KO's isolated, and the Weaver's Wall is going to cut off the retreat path. Little Decoy, he can't get out of here. He's under the turret, and he's just going to buy some time, but Rare Fiction, he can take that up for days. That getting picked up as well, and Bill had already dropped over in that fight there. That was a super smooth combination as well, because Rare Fiction teleported in right to where Atrophians was going to land, and they're going to be able to get the initial demolition of this as well. What a move by Tigereye.
Because it's such a resounding victory from that team fight too, they can choose who the gold goes to. You can see that they're going for, they've already picked up the gold. They've handed it over to the duo lane. So really focusing on getting OK Tiger a little bit farmed up. They already know Rare Fiction's doing absolutely fine, has that CS lead. Importantly, keeping Raven under cover though.
Yeah, he's going to be able to move on up to that top lane nice and slow. And now King 5, they want to kind of slow this one down a little bit. 5 kills down. Dragons are even. Turrets in favor of Tigereye. And about a 3k gold lead. Certainly surmountable for King 5. But they do need to wait a little bit and get their siege online. Find a couple of picks as well with Bill and Shock.
As we saw as well after the Dragon was taken down. Next one, Inferno Drake.
Yeah.
Again, that team fight damage buff that everyone wants. And even though the Dragons are even right now, no matter who picks up the third Drake, Elder Dragon is going to buff that just through the roof.
Jiraxis loves these Dragon spawns right now. Red Fiction actually going to be the one in the bottom lane to stop up the siege. I don't know if that's actually going to work out for him, but there's going to be a move in the top side. Bomi even committed to that as well. So I think they might just be happy to trade turrets here. And yeah, that is going to be what happens. So Tigereye keep the lead in terms of turrets. Oh, Red Fiction. Hold on, he's in a bit of trouble here. He doesn't really have many escape tools. He's just kind of running with no flash and hasn't really respected the damage from KO. The taunt is going to get enough range though. There isn't going to be any more follow-up. And now that means Tigereye can continue to siege on this next turret. Because, oh, they're going deep actually. They want to find Raven. They're just going to go straight for it. Oh, the Super Mega Dance Rocket goes wide.
Raven. Oh, no, he doesn't.
There was an auto attack following him and now Shock is in trouble. The Weaver's Wall. Oh, bumps him away from the pursuing Tigereye. But no, he's not because Red Fiction can taunt over that one. And gets right on in, the turret dropping as well. And Tigereye are about to blow this map wide open.
3,000 gold lead after just a very short few fights. And that's going to continue because they're picking up tower after tower. They've picked up 2 towers from that alone in the top lane. While it's been matched by Bill in the bottom lane and the other, the duo lane as well with the Owl turret, it's still, all those kills have got to mean something.
That they do, and now they're going to answer with the one in mid lane. Now this one cannot get responded to by King 5, so Tigereye still walking away with the advantage, and that's going to turn that 3k gold lead into a 4k gold lead, and like I said, blows the map wide open. They've got a ton of vision on top side where that Baron has spawned now, and Tigereye have all the tools to make some really proactive plays here and start to close the game out.
The key thing that they can continue to do is have Rare Fiction and Raven continue to duke it out in the top lane. Raven was in trouble when he had his tier 2 turret. He's going to go all the way back to that inhibitor turret now if he wants to keep safe. That's if he's playing it right. The worst case, the best case is he has to still spend a huge amount on wards around that area. Keep that vision up. But who's actually doing that? It's
Tigereye. Raven is actually playing really unsafe here. If anyone collapses, he isn't going to know, and he isn't going to have a retreat path. Smartly recalls before anything comes in from Tigereye. So he does get that wave shoving safely, at least for now. But like I said, Tigereye still with all the chance to make the proactive play.
Keeping Rare Fiction off in one of those side lanes. Teleport going to be up. Stand United going to be up very shortly as well. That's all the tools Tigereye need to go. They're 7 for 0. King 5 are yet to pick up a kill here. They've killed a dragon. They've killed 2 towers. Towers have lives. I'm sure they do.
Tower lives matter.
It's really going to be so demoralizing for them right now. They've lost game 1, so they're already behind. They haven't got a kill in game 2. It's looking, because game 1 at least looked kind of close.
Right. Even
now things are really, really breaking out of control for Tiger.
Because even with the gold differential, never mind all that, because, oh, okay, Tiger totally collapsed upon, and Tigereye could not find the response onto Bill. This is what King 5 need to do. They needed to find those picks. Now they found Ultra Ferns. He's going to flash away, going to get that shit off of him, and Raven smartly backing off from it. They want to find something, a nice wall, going to stop the retreat, but Rare Fiction, he can't follow up because of how that, there's no follow-up for him, sorry, because of how that wall landed. Now Bill going deep onto Defense. He gets taken down himself though as Defense drops. Now Bomi, the focus flashes away. Brawler caught up, no retreat tools of his own as KO finds Bomi off to the side. Brawler drops down to Raven, and now King 5 really starting to even up the game. They're definitely getting a mid turret off this.
Pings on Baron of all things though. Are they going to skip this mid lane turret? I feel like, whoa, this is such a risky play. Their dead timers are long, but who are they? There's still a Rek'Sai they're slightly stamping up the tunnels. They need to get that tunnel. Otherwise, Bomi is going to get there for the potential steal. How quickly can they get this Baron down? There's no melting drakes.
They're not actually melting it all that quickly. This is taking a while. I don't think Bomi is quite going to respawn in time. And actually, the ultimate is down from him, but they have to back off just because they're taking so much damage. Never mind, Red Fiction wants to go in. Never mind, because the rocket's there. But Raven, he refills the health bar with that ultimate. Now Tiger, can he get one to start the snowball? No, not when KO gets a crit like that. And King 5, they do back away. We're getting another kill as well. That's actually the second time in a row we saw Rare Fiction go a little bit too deep on the Shen. King 5 have absolutely put themselves back on the board here.
Yeah, who's demoralized now, Tigereye? King 5. Got to feel good after that team fight. A little bit upset that they chose the objective, which they couldn't actually close out. But Dragon number 3, it's going to be 2 Inferno Drakes straight over the Tigereye, and it's going to put that Elder Drake threat. And we're still more than 10 minutes away, but not 10 minutes away from the fight.
Roller, he was trying to keep the team away from the fight, and of course the team just collapsed on him instead.
Save him!
No one can block it out. Bomi knows it's too unsafe. The sacrificial land there so that they can secure the Drake, and they are going to be able to get away with the retreat. This does give King 5 priority over that mid lane turret, though. Actually, maybe not. The waves are a fair way away, but in any case, the second Infernal to Tigereye now, and one still in King 5's pockets, but Tigereye still with a lot of teamfight power, even as the gold has been evened up.
Got to look at some of the items being picked up though by King 5, and maybe some of the reasons why they are securing these wins in the team fights. That wall, very smart.
Yeah.
Going to block off damage to the turret for a little while. But
Raven's
going deep.
Oh, Raven's going really deep, but he doesn't have the damage onto our defense. The Super Mega Death Rocket just pings KO, gets a bit of damage down, forces them to back off. They have to respect the wave clear and the damage bill on the retreat now as he tried to set up something funky on the side. But this is the siege potential out of King 5. This is what they wanted to set up all game long, and it's starting to work for them. Whenever
you bring Caitlyn, you know your siege is going to be huge. A little bit unfortunate that they couldn't bring the Mountain Drakes or the Ocean Drakes they had from last game. But in any case, it's still going to be a strong siege composition because it's very hard to jump into a fight when the constant threat of pick is there. You're defending from a turret from a position where it's very easy to line up those stuns for shock. He can simply line it up, stun you, and kill you immediately with the huge amount of burst from the rest of his team. It's going to be all on rare fiction if that happens, though. Stand United has to be activated immediately.
It absolutely does. Now King 5 setting up the siege one more time. This time, and he's going to be able to get the turret. Yeah, Bomi. He's only one guy. He can't really do the damage on those minions. They do just barely hold it out between Bomi and Brawler. This is only a few people committed to this mid lane because Raven is starting to do work in top along with Bill. So they do get a turret there. Nice use of the split push pressure out of the Echo, and it wasn't answered at that moment by Rare Fiction. He is there now, and there isn't really the pressure on mid, so I think that's all King 5 gets for now.
King 5 have actually managed to overtake Tigereye in the goal, despite being still behind a turret. Still, they didn't get the initial demolition either. So if they get this turret in the mid lane, which they very well may do with the Caitlyn's range, they're going to really propel that gold lead even a little bit further. Just enough for it to make a difference, maybe get a key item on one of their characters. It could be the difference between winning the next team fight or losing 2-0 to Tigereye.
Now again, King 5 wanting to start the siege in the mid lane, and this time they've sent
They've got to get it, come on.
Yeah, this time they certainly will. It's only a couple of shots left, and Raven in the bottom lane keep the split push pressure up. King 5 now just starting to play the map, and this is really hard for Tigereye to respond to.
Raven actually becoming a significant threat. Despite being thrown all over the place during the laning phase, he's got his Triforce, he's got his tanky stats right now. He can go up against Rare Fiction, but who cares about that?
Yeah, when you just catch shock, maybe. And there's going to be the Super Mega Death Rocket, little decoy stopping that one up with the big bad door. And the collapse actually can't really come through from Tigereye right now. They don't really have the mobility and the catch tools. So the retreat here from King 5. Now with Raven roving up, hold on. They might just go for a pincer move here. Brawler has spotted it out. Raven, Rare Fiction's actually there to stop him up. And Tigereye, they can't really find anything, but they can't get anything found on them. King 5 can't find Tigereye, is what I really want to say.
Neither team can find anything.
Yeah.
Well, they can't find each other. They can find gold, they can find CS, sometimes they even find towers. But in any case, the key thing to find is going to be that Baron. We're heading into that sort of territory right now. Both teams very, very blind around it though. They need to start planting down those wards, and we've already seen King 5. They're ready to push the Baron trigger. They're ready to go for it when they think they have the slightest advantage. They might have miscalculated it, but you know, as the game goes longer and longer on, death timers are longer and damage is up to take down that Baron.
Again, King 5 looking to get a siege going. Some inner turret this time, so a little bit harder for them to even get to. They don't quite have the vision control around this top side just yet, but at the very least they can push the waves out and get some vision around that Baron.
Of course, they're always going to have a Raven being sneaky around that bottom lane. He's got his teleport up. Recalling on a... Oh, that didn't cancel the recall. That would have been pretty big, actually.
Yeah, Q was just short. For OK Tiger, right, actually, that would have been very big because there was no teammates there for Raven. The collapse could have come in. Oh, a nice wood. Hold on, they caught OK Tiger. Can they get the follow-up? Now, there's going to be the ace in the whole channel, but blocked. Of course, you can body block that ability.
just out of range.
Yeah, now Tigereye backing out.
From the unleashed power from Syndra. Not able to throw that ultimate over the wall. That would have been a kill had Rare Fiction not been on point with his, well, on cooldown Stand United, so never mind.
And Shock couldn't actually flash over the water to close that out. Now Raven and Rare Fiction again. It's not quite Wet Noodle, but Rare Fiction's starting to take a bit more damage in the second phase.
Raven can at least live for a very long time, which gives him the opportunity to escape. He's still putting out a fair amount of damage, and with the threat of Bill...
Yeah, forced to flash and then taunt as well. Flash is actually quite significant on the Shen at this point in the game, because it means he can't get engages with the flash.
And against an AD carry like Caitlyn, who never mind, who cares?
Yep, scratch all that because they're ready to fight. The Weaver's Wall was actually stopped up short. Bomey, he's put a little bit deep here. Now, OK, Tiger on the side. He's relatively untouched, but so is KO, but they've finally got the catch on him as Raven's gone deep. The stun is going to connect if he can get one more. Yes, he does. Raven finds OK Tiger on the back line. Now, the rest are committed to the fight with no one to really follow up the damage. Now, Raven, he's able to just speed away. The rest of the follow-up is now here for King 5. They're trying to catch someone. Rare Fiction has found Bill, and now King 5 maybe a little bit dicey on the retreat. Rare Fiction, he's the one staying in the fight for the longest now as they find KO, and the taunt is there to stop any sneaky kill going over onto Bomey. So King 5 weren't able to quite get the retreat they wanted, and Tigereye do walk away with a kill advantage.
Just in time for the Ocean Drake to spawn up as well. Going to be key for those siege situations that we've been seeing so much of lately right now. Both teams, though, a little bit too low to risk going for the Dragon. We all know what's coming up soon. It's going to be the Elder Dragon, not very often targeted by teams in such an even situation because it just takes so long to take down. But with the Inferno Drakes, it's got to be considered.
Absolutely does. Now Rare Fiction re-clearing up top lane. Gold still incredibly even. It was actually in King 5's favor this time last game, but this time around King 5, even without having the gold lead, oh actually, sorry they do, just by a small margin, but without that big gold lead, they still have a lot of control around this map, have certainly been making good use of that. And we'll need to see which team is able to set up what play in the coming minutes to start closing out the game.
Now remember the key thing that I talked about during Champion Slate. Jungler and support need to ward together against King 5, just against that pick composition. But at this stage in the game, King 5 need to follow a similar strategy, particularly with a squishy jungler and Bill on Nidalee. So in any case though, this Ocean Drake dropping low.
Really low, but the smite was not quite there for Bomey. Bill picks that one up.
In the back
line. Want to go for a fight. Shock's actually picked OK Tiger. This is really dicey for Tigereye because Raven, he's looking to go deep. At the very least, he's keeping Rare Fiction out of the rest of the fight as Bomey drops down to Bill. Now, there's the Stoneweaver herself just to try and stop the follow-up from coming in, but already having lost 2 members, it's a bit dicey for Tigereye. They need to really play this one careful. They kind of want to go aggressive. You know, you can tell Rare Fiction wants to get a taunt because they do have a lot of damage in Vitalia, but this is really, really scary for them. Siege is going to start up. King 5, they still want to fight.
King 5 have a 2-man advantage. Of course they want to fight. That turret really, really low. It's got to be so tempting. But they're moving up to the Baron. If they don't go for the Baron, they can at least control the vision around it. But here we go. They're going in. This is what Tigereye can actually see right now. They know the Baron's being contested, but Rek'Sai about to spawn with the ultimate to get across the map.
But he doesn't have any tunnels. No tunnels in the area. He can't speed on in as the Baron gets sunk back into the pit by King 5, and now they're going on the aggressive. Can't quite get the stun. Rare Fiction. Bill takes a chunk. Rare Fiction, though, he wanted to go back in to get the taunt, but the Zonius is there, and now Rare Fiction too deep gets picked out. Raven, he knows he can't go too deep against that damage. Bomey is back in the fight at last. They might be able to find Raven, though, on the retreat. The Super Mega Dance Rocket goes wide, but never mind that because Bomey still gets the kill. And now the rest of King 5 on the retreat, still respecting Tigereye's fight potential, and they need to keep Baron up on as many people as possible. Smooth retreat, all things considered.
Only the top laners dead for now, so it's still going to be a 4-on-4 for at least the next 35 seconds. This turret is dropping down faster and faster.
Beautiful wall.
Bomey and the wall completely zoning off King 5.
Whoa! Bill! Deep, but makes it work. Artifins could not quite find the response kill, and the clutch heal keeping Bill alive despite that little bit of burn and bleed. Really, really dicey play, but it keeps the turret alive.
Very greedy by Tigereye. They knew it was an even fight. They had great zoning. Once it ran out, though, they needed to back off. And Bill, absolutely ready to pounce on any situation that he can get into.
Why?
Because it's one of Nidalee's abilities.
Yeah, but...
Because she's a cat.
Yes.
All right, in any case, top laners are respawned, and we're going to have Artifins back in the mix very shortly in 20 seconds. Both teams still not in any position to really contest any major objectives, but King 5 have the option to put pressure on with that Baron buff. And as I say that, of course, an objective does fall. That mid lane turret, though, already quite low. The real test is going to be whether they can put any pressure on these inhibitor turrets or that free top lane turret way over there in Raven's path.
5 with that Baron. Still on a good few members look to set up the siege. There is a decent amount of wave clear. Certainly feels like KO brings a bit more to the table than OK Tiger right now, but we're going to put that all to the test now as these two teams do come into a little bit of a pause here for now, which kind of gives us a bit of a breather to assess this game because it's still really even, but King 5, they have a Baron. They're starting to siege up. Do we think they can break the turrets right now?
I
feel
feel like
something a bit more.
They just need to spend a little bit of, a lot more time, a lot more patience on sieging these turrets. And a common mistake a lot of teams make is that they rush into it. They try and take shots at the turret when maybe it's not quite safe to do so. But with a team set up the way they do, all that pick potential, they've just got to wait for the right moment. Fish for those stuns, shoot them out with the long range that Syndra has, catch someone out, and then go for the turret. They've got the Baron, they've got the split pushing. That's all they need to do.
So, on the flip side of that, Tigereye, they have actually managed to hold the gold fairly even still. And it's kind of doing work for them, right? They're still getting fights, sometimes getting favorable movements, but they kind of need to get a little bit more, I feel. And they don't seem to quite have the vision control to get the positional advantage they need to get those picks and fights.
Well, Tigereye, now that they're locked in their own base, essentially, they're down to inhibitor turrets, apart from that top lane, which I swear Raven is just going to take down straight away.
Oh, yeah.
They're locked in their base. It's very hard to jump out of your base in a situation like this and get those wards down. They've got to kill someone to get out of their base, and that's such a dicey situation, like you said, with a Baron buffed up team aiming for your inhibitors, maybe even your Nexus at this point. We're pretty long on death timers. They've got to be so careful on how they move out.
Yeah, so Tigereye, they are finding the fights, though, when they do find them. And I feel like the other thing that could happen here is King 5 could actually overcommit. You know, we were saying that the Caitlyn's wave clear kind of outdoes what Tigereye bring to the table, but they do actually bring some to the table. And the Caitlyn still needs to be safe while she wave clears. So if the front line isn't there for King 5, we absolutely can still see Bomi and Rare Fiction go in and commit to something, even get as deep as that back line. So Tigereye, I feel like they need to kind of bide their time and look for that angle and maybe even position Bomi around the side of the siege if they can. That being said, King 5 have done a great job of retreating from these fights so far.
That is true. One thing to note that's got to be on the minds of both teams, but in very different ways, is that this is still a best-of-3 series. Tigereye are 1 game up, which means Tigereye, they know they've got the safety. We're going to get back into the game, actually, very, very shortly. But Tigereye, they've still got an extra life. King 5, the nerves have got to be playing right now. They know if they're very, very careful, they can eke out a 1-1 score and then maybe turn that into a 2-1 victory.
You can possibly, exactly. Yeah, you know, it could be a 4-point loss right here. It could be the beginning of a 3-point gain for King 5. Of course, by 4-point loss, I mean that's 4 points over to Tigereye, but in any case, King 5 are facing that, so they do want to play this nice and carefully. Don't want to overstep their bounds and get engaged upon by Tigereye.
So King 5 still doing the same thing. They do need to leave Raven up in the top lane, or at least a side lane. Get that split push going down. One of the biggest strengths of the Baron buff is that you can do that. Of course, we've got to check that duration. There's only a quarter of the Baron buff left, so they've got 1 good push, maybe 1 good team fight to take advantage of that Baron. And they're going to need to start doing it soon. They finally got Raven in a split pushing lane, though.
That's really crucial for him. He was one of the few that died in that fight, though, of course, after the Baron was picked up. So he himself does not have that buff. He's still a fair split push threat, though. Hasn't quite wheeled up to that top lane, and King 5 maybe just want to set up vision around this Elder Dragon, which is going to be spawning in just under 2 minutes.
Both teams going to want it equally as bad, although Tigereye, with the 2 Inferno Drakes rather than 1 Ocean Drake and an Inferno Drake, really, really looking to lock down that team fighting power. Especially once King 5 lose the Baron buff, they'll know that they can get on even terms. But look at the positional advantage that King 5 had. As I say that, as Raven gets caught out.
Yeah, a little bit too deep, but he is at least a little bit tanky now. Knows that Rare Fiction can't quite do the damage himself, even with our defense there. Raven, though, again, might have gone back in too deep. Little Decoy's there with the protection, but he gets bumped into the team. A stun and a knock-up onto Rare Fiction, but he's not the one when you want to focus on. Sorry, as the wall comes in. Our defense, though, caught. He's too far forward. The rest of the team isn't there. Now Rare Fiction, he
double kill.
Down. Double kill now. They're going to get the rundown. They get one from onto Bill now, and Bomi trying to flee. Raven diving onto him. Bomi's not getting out of this one alive. King 5, they didn't even need to take it slow because Tigereye overextended to try and find that fight. And we've actually seen that in their last two fights. Our defense has gone forward and been caught.
Always looking for those crucial walls, looking to cut off the escape, but of course it's too late. But look what's happening.
How much are they going to get?
This could be the win here. We're 36 minutes into the game. There's still 20 seconds until the key characters are back up. These Nexus turrets are starting to drop fairly
Yeah,
quickly.
they're getting one Nexus
One's
turret
down.
They're going to get the second one. This is going to be all over here for Tigereye. King 5 evening up the series 1-1. Want to try and take out a 2-1 if they possibly can. And King 5 keeping their cool. Under pressure, putting one back on their board. Really tight match there again. And really well played by King 5 because they were down for quite a while.
That's going to be such a breath of relief for King 5 there. They knew they were down. They knew they were close to just flat out losing the 2-0. But turning that one key team fight around in the middle of that game really got their spirits back up. And, of course, their gold back up, which was a key reason to bringing out the victory there. But, honestly, the fact that they're able to bring it back to a 1-1 shows just how evenly matched these teams are. We said that this is the first seed from the qualifier going up against the third seed. But, honestly, these guys look so even right now.
Yeah, they both look really... I feel like this last match could honestly go either way. And we're going to find out which way it goes in just a few minutes after these brief words from our sponsors.
The New Zealand Gaming Championships League of Legends Premiership is presented by Let's Play Live, Australasia's new home of esports at Let's Play.live. Logitech G, bringing you winning gaming devices. Mice, keyboards, headsets, and controllers. Game with passion, win with science. Logitech G. Twitch, the world's leading social video platform and community for gamers. Twitch.tv. The NZGC is powered by Playtech. Technology at play. Playtech is the #1 custom PC system builder in New Zealand. Visit playtech.co.nz. Players stay at Adina Apartment Hotel at Britomart, Auckland. Book today at adinahotels.com. Adina, official accommodation of the NZGC.
And welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to come into Game 3 of our first night. This is a match that has really deserved our opening night here at the NZGC. Tigereye and King 5.
Honestly, I could not have wished for a better matchup. It's been so great. We're going into Game 3. It looked a little bit dicey in Game 2 with Tigereye coming out so far ahead for so long. But honestly, the way King 5 came back made me remember why I love these competitive series.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who are just joining us, we'll take another look at who these teams are because, of course, the series dead even. Which means one of these teams will be walking away with 3 points, the other with 1, and really it's anyone's guess who that's going to be.
Well, of course, we've got King 5. Let's take a look at their roster. It's Raven in the top lane, Bill in the jungle, Shock is going to be in the mid lane. Down in the bottom side of the map, Kaio and Lil Decoy will be your AD carry and the support. And I've talked about it quite a lot, Raven, but we've got to see KO.
Yeah.
He's been such a great positional AD carry.
Come up really well, and opposite him is going to be OK Tiger in Tigereye's bottom lane with his support brawler. Top lane is going to be Rare Fiction coming up against Superstar Raven. In the jungle, they of course have Bomi, and mid is our defense. Tigereye taking out the first game and then dropping the second one despite having a goal lead for a significant chunk. Like we said, both of these teams still coming off quite even.
And we are into the champion select. We can jump right into the pick ban phase of this match, I believe. Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
I knew I heard the sound.
Yep.
There it is. And we're straight back in. We saw very, very identical bans between game 1 and 2. We'll see if that comes out again.
Yeah.
So far,
Wow.
same story.
They're respecting Bomi's Lee Sin. And I like that Tigereye haven't bothered banning out Bill's Nidalee, right? Because it's been good, but it hasn't been amazing. This isn't the Bill's Nidalee that we're used to that's constantly coming across the map and just cleaning up kills left, right, and center, right? Bill, I almost want to see him take up a different jungler here.
A lot of strength from Bill's Nidalee has always been he picks one lane and kills it over and over and over and over. Hasn't happened this series so far. In fact, I feel like it's because Tigereye have been matching them a lot in the lanes, but it is going to be Nidalee. We've got to see something different out from Bill this time.
Like I said, I'm not sure if that ban was hugely warranted. I mean, Bill, he's been playing well, but he's been playing no better than on any other jungler. I feel like it could be the Nidalee or anything else at this point. I don't know how necessary that ban was, but in any case, that is what it's going to be. Vladimir again banned out from Art of Fans, and going to have to see what King 5 want to start off with. Yeah, Karma available, and Shen was first picked twice now, and yes, of course, the Shen as well, that Rare Fiction played to great effect against Raven in that top lane.
And of course then, comfort picks again. One of them has been banned away in that Nidalee, but we still have things like Nami is still available if Brawler wants to take it up. He picked it on the red side last time, we'll see if it happens again. Of course, Aurelia for Raven is going to be available once again. They didn't pick it up even though they had the option to in the last match. With 5 seconds to go, we'll see if it's a first pick warrant, but I feel like if they were going to pick it, they'd pick it later. Trundle though, great flex pick.
Trundle, you can go in that top lane or support. I find it interesting that that was actually taken when Karma was available and has been first pick so far, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Tigereye first picking that Karma. That being said, it could be that King 5 just have a plan to deal with the Karma.
So the Echo would be pretty clever if it gets locked in. Of course, Karma's got to come through, and there's the Echo. The reason it's quite clever is because in game 1, we actually saw it first picked, and we all assumed, oh, that's just Echo in the top lane. That's where he's most commonly played. Tigereye, though, playing a few tricks, put him in the jungle, put someone else, Maokai, in the top lane instead. And now it's King 5 have got to be having questions. Are they going to do the same thing? Or is it just an Echo on the top lane? They need to know how to answer.
Yeah, and it kind of throws a lot up into the air for them. You're dead right. You know, where is it going to go? I mean, they've already locked in their top laner anyway, so they need to start questioning what they take out for the jungle in case this is a top lane Echo, right? What do you want to take away from Bomi in the jungle if that Echo is not in the jungle? And it looks like it's going to be the Gragas they want to take away. The Braum as well being locked in, and yeah, Gragas, Braum, quite a tanky looking lineup already actually out of King 5.
That is huge. Health points are going to be huge. Those HP bars going to be really... Hit points? Health points. I guess it could be both. It's interchangeable. But in any case...
It's actually a kind of stake source.
3 tanks going to show that... three tanks are going to show that Tigereye really can't go for a pick composition. You can't go for assassination against Braum, Gragas, Trundle, all very, very beefy champions. Going to be really hard to take down. Tigereye, though, looking to pick similar champion. Kennen. Oh, another flexible pick.
That's the Kennen. It could be a mid lane or a top lane. And we've started to see Kennen kind of making his way into the scene. He's a bit of an interesting champion. He kind of acts as an anti-diver, but he also brings a lot of team fight and potentially pick pressure as well. So I like the pickup because the other lock-in has been Caitlyn for OK Tiger. So it's really hard to dive onto this Tigereye comp, and with a Gragas, that's actually one of the things you often want to do.
It's interesting picking it into the Gragas, though, because, of course, like you said, Gragas loves diving. But if they ever feel like going aggressive with the Kennen, the Slicing Maelstrom is going to be met by the Explosive Cask.
And now Little Decoy hovering over Syndra for Shock, and just going to find out what's going on with the pick and ban in just a moment there. We will be jumping back into that, but I feel like there are a few things we can talk about so far. The first one I want to talk about is actually that potential top lane matchup, because we don't know where that Echo is going just yet, but I feel like this time it could be a top Echo to kind of keep the element of surprise on Tigereye's side, and that's going to be going into the Trundle, because of course Braum is locked in there. It's not a Trundle support, so how do we feel that matchup goes?
Well, I feel like Kennen, just with the range advantage... Oh, the Echo. Sorry. Echo,
same thing.
Yeah, quite a brawly champion. Trundle has a lot of sustain behind it, but of course, you know, Echo, I feel like it's quite a skill matchup.
Yeah.
Right? You've got to move in and out. You've got to use your cooldowns really effectively. But as the Echo, you're a little bit more reliant on your jungler coming in, where you need someone to capitalize on your crowd control, because once you're in the early laning phase, you don't have the amount of damage you need, especially against the Trundle, to take him down before he comes out of that stun and just walks away without dying. Whereas Trundle, he can just sit there in the lane, survive, and that's it. He doesn't need to do anything else.
And speaking of jungle, we're going to be seeing Bill onto the Gragas now instead. There were quite a few other junglers available, of course, Elise and Rek'Sai, both still up. So prioritizing the Gragas, to me, says that he does want to play pretty much exclusively aggressively. You can use the explosive cast to peel, and you do have escape tools in that body slam. You can get over walls with that, but Gragas tends to be going in more than he's going out, right?
Yeah.
So that again speaks to Bill going with a really aggressive play style, and Tigereye know that he wants to do that. He's now on his second favorite champion doing that. I feel like Tigereye have come into this with a plan of how they're going to deal with Bill this game.
I feel like also Gragas brings a lot of the same tools that Rek'Sai brings, which we've seen in the previous game, is that can go over so many walls, bring so many new ganking parts. Of course, the ultimate's still strong, despite the nerf. But I've got word that we're actually back into the lobby, so we can head straight back into there.
Brightest big band.
We're about to back to where we were.
Same point.
That's not going to be a Twitch. You picked Caitlyn. You've got to pick Twitch.
Sneaky.
Sorry,
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and pick in the Caitlyn. And we're going to find out what it is going to be for the other pick, Artiferns. I'm wondering if it was maybe not a cannon. Don't say it too loud, but apparently there's a bug going around, at least on EU, that sometimes things just get locked in automatically.
That's fine. You know, we can deal with it. We just go straight back into the lobby.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it would make a little bit of sense that it wasn't actually a cannon, just because obviously we were surprised to see that come out.
Well,
they're using all their time here.
We were surprised, but it's not out of the meta completely. Like, we have seen a little bit, but it is not going to be the cannon. It's going to be the Graves to go into the jungle there. So yes, that is going to be a top lane Echo. And this speaks of all-out aggression from Tigereye. The way they want to match Bill on his second favorite aggressive jungler is to go aggression all across the board.
Of course, Graves being way more of a damage-focused jungler than someone like Gragas or Rek'Sai, who focus more on the tanky stats. Graves, he's just going to be able to come and capitalize on a lot of the damage. But so far, that's a squishy lineup. Caitlyn, Graves,
for sure.
Karma. Sure, Echo builds tanky, but nothing like Trundle, right?
Yeah, and he doesn't get it till later either, so that has to be taken into consideration. They need to round this out with, I don't know, a tanky mid laner, I guess.
And look at the answer to that as well. Shock already looking to pick up that Syndra. It's being hovered over. It'd be great to pick up against Artifiends. You're taking that away from him. But at the same time, building someone that can pick someone down, even if your team comp doesn't build around it, the fact is you can stun someone up and assassinate them from full HP because they're all incredibly squishy.
Okay, we're going to lock in that Jhin for himself there. Okay, I have a lot to say about it, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit later because what I say depends on what this last lock-in is for Tigereye. And like we said, they are currently looking really squishy. What do you take in the mid lane that is remotely tanky? I guess Lissandra is on the table, but I'm really interested to see how they round this one out because this is potentially a really hard King 5 squad to go aggressive against, and they've gone all in on taking aggressive picks.
There are options to flex as well. Karma has been seen in the mid lane. Echo himself can even go down there as well, so you have the options to go for a tanky support or top laner.
Alistar on the table.
I feel like that's not going to happen. Lissandra, I think, like you said, probably the best option if you're looking for any kind of tanky stats, but still, not a flat tank. You're not picking up something like Malphite. You're picking Lissandra, who focus. Never mind.
Or you're picking Victor.
So
never mind.
They're gonna round it out with another squishy champion. That's a lot of damage coming out from them. You're going, like, if you get caught out of position, you are dead for sure.
Yeah.
But in any case, with the Syndra, I feel like it's so risky to pick into that.
So this is a kind of a binary team comp, I feel. We're just back in the lobby again. We're going to be jumping back through that pick and ban screen nice and quick to get everything sussed out there. Might have been the same issue as before because that Victor was quite a last-minute swap. But in any case, it's a very black and white team comp out of Tigereye here. I mean, whether it is a Victor or a Lissandra, right, the rest of them has, it's already told the story of what they want to do. Either they get aggressive early and they pull it off and they get kills and they snowball a lead and King 5 just can't find their way into the game and all their tankiness and distance they can create with Jhin doesn't help them. Or that doesn't happen for King 5 and... Sorry, that doesn't happen for Tigereye, and King 5 just turned it back around because they have all the tools to do that. They are totally going to outpace Tigereye in the mid to late stages of this game if the game starts even.
It's also interesting with the Jhin pickup with Braum. Usually you see champions that synergize very well with Braum's passive, hitting someone 4 times very, very quickly.
Jhin is the opposite. He's the complete opposite.
Yeah, Jhin has hit someone 4 times.
Yeah, he does like the
very
number 4.
hard, but very slowly.
He does like the number 4 though, so you know, maybe there's a bit of synergy going on. But you're dead right. You know, I guess the way he can maybe think about it is you tag with the Braum Q, you get your 3 shots of the Jhin, and then you get the 4th guaranteed crit, which is also on a stunned target. That is powerful, but like you said, it's very slow. Often we see a more synergistic lane coming out there. So I feel like that is expressly to play for the later parts of the game, right? Including that Braum, who is a good way to mitigate that really heavy burst damage that jumps on top of you. So I like that. I like that both of those were picked up, but for different reasons. And like you said, maybe not so great in the lane together, which means Tigereye. That's a place they can get that early aggression. That is a place they can get those early moves, get those kills, and get the game snowballing. And they have to take advantage of that.
They've got Graves as well to come down, and while he's not going to bring a whole lot of crowd control, but Bomi can bring a huge amount of damage, particularly if they're going for dives. They're 3 ranged champions with the Caitlyn and the Karma as well. That's very easy to safely do a huge amount of burst damage to those guys in the bottom lane, but at the same time, there's Braum to block all of that.
Indeed, Braum to block a whole lot of stuff from pretty much every member of Tigereye. We're going to be taking a look at these team comps in a little bit more depth in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere.
The NZGC is brought to you by our incredible technology and media partners.
And welcome back. We're going to be going real in depth in this pick and ban. Yeah, real, like really, like even deeper than before. Like we're going subterranean. Yeah, I'm ready.
I've got
ready
2 shovels.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, this guy. I'm ready to dig in deep into this champion select.
I'm ready to play Yorick.
He really digs graves.
Yep.
We've already talked a bit about how these teams kind of need to do, or rather, how they need to win, and a lot of that is really on Tigereye, but I kind of want to take a look more at the individual matchups. We've touched on that top lane, we've touched a little bit on the bottom lane, at least in terms of how Tigereye win it out. The one I want to look at now is the mid lane. Is that Victor versus Syndra? Because we saw Victor in the first game. I believe it was Shock that played it, and then we saw him playing Syndra in the last game. So he knows both what he is playing and what he's playing against really, really well. How do these champions just stack up head to head?
So, literally just head-to-head, just in the lane matchup. Syndra can put out more damage a lot more often. Getting caught by the laser from Victor is obviously going to put you behind in the trades, but it's fairly easy to dodge that, right? It's very hard to just walk into it randomly. The key thing is not in the literal head-to-head, though. It's the junglers. And as the no-escape Victor, of course, you're bringing Ghost and Flash. But what you need to do to protect yourself against Gragas ganks is ward the Ravens.
Yeah.
Because the Raptors, sorry. Put a ward there.
Well,
because
make sure Raven is warded too.
Yeah, ward Raven too. But there's only one of him. But putting a ward in that Raptor area, just because it's so common for a Gragas to sit there and wait and just body slam over the wall. He'll be level 6, he'll throw out the explosive cast and easily get a kill with a Syndra there to bring the damage.
The thing I kind of want to say as well is Victor has a much easier time escaping from a Nidalee over a Gragas, to be honest, because the Nidalee at some point does just kind of have to start running at you, whereas Gragas, he body slams in, and either he has the burst and gets the kill, or at least most of it, or he just backs out completely. He doesn't continue chasing, and if he needs to, he can just cast you out of position. As Victor, you're never going to be able to run away and make space, then pop down the gravity field to stop up that chase. So you're dead right. Raptors have to be warded, as does pretty much everything. They need to know where Bill is at all times. Otherwise, the Victor kind of gets out-aggressed. That being said, the same immobility is true of Syndra, and that's coming up against a Graves.
That's true. Well, it's not like someone who can jump over the wall. I don't think he can actually fit over that thick part of the Raptor wall. No, not quite. But what he can do is he can sit back from a safe distance, because I was talking about it before, about the bottom lane dives. You bring a lot of safe damage, particularly just his ultimate collateral damage is going to burst down someone who thought, maybe I've got enough health to get out. But against the Victor, that's going to happen quite commonly. You'll get hit by the laser, Chaos Storm's coming in, you're thinking, all right, this guy's going aggressive. He's used a lot of cooldowns, I can back off and maybe move back in. But then suddenly Graves.
Suddenly Graves. And Graves brings a whole ton of burst damage to the table. So we talked about the bottom lane maybe being somewhere Tigereye want to focus that Graves, but they can actually do the same in mid, right? They can go around once, blow the flash, go around again, get the kill, and that's what Tigereye have to do, right? This isn't just, this is an option. They do need to do either this or the exact same in the bottom lane, or like I said, they kind of end up falling behind. Now, while they're going to be trying to do that, and I guarantee you they will try and do that, what can King 5 be doing to stop Tigereye from getting that start?
So we said it as soon as we saw the first 3 champions locked in. They're a tanky composition. Not only that, though, they've got a lot of wave clear, right? Just from the Gragas and the Syndra. All they need to do is sit back underneath the turrets, keep them safe, because one big threat that comes out from an all-ranged, well, apart from the Echo, a mostly ranged, high-damage composition is the threat of your turrets going down.
And that threat absolutely prevalent here. In any case, both teams hitting the ref for what will, one way or another, be their last game of the night, whether it is Tigereye taking out the 2-1, securing the extra points, or if it is going to be King 5 turning it around, taking out the 2-1. In any case...
Oh, this is cheeky.
Yeah, this is a much different start. Not the defensive fan out. King 5, they want to do something a little bit more aggressive here.
Every time, though, both teams, when they've been on the red side, they've dropped down the ward at the exact time you move in to force a fight. But King 5, maybe recognizing that, maybe that they can't actually get anything from this, going to back off. But this is a little bit strange. I feel like they were going to go for a bit of cheese in the lane after they come back from Gromp.
I'm wondering what it is. I feel like it might have been that King 5 were expecting Tigereye to put a ward there, and were hoping to maybe catch out OK Tiger or Brawler, or in fact both, but got neither and do smartly back out for that defensive fan.
Hey, Victor.
So nothing ending up coming. Yeah, hi Victor. And
he's got a third hand.
He can like high five himself. If the rest of us do that, it's just clapping.
Well, I think it's still clapping. Just he has another hand to do things. But in any case, we're going to be starting up. The jungle creeps are going to be spawning. This time, no shenanigans. Both bot lanes are going to be able to pick up their camps, move in with an almost instant level 2. Here we go.
And yeah, I like how this Krugs gets picked up as well for King 5, because they take a little bit less damage from it. Brawler, on the other hand, quite low, and KO will come to lane with some early crits out of that 4th bullet. So they can actually potentially kind of bully out Brawler here if they play this smart. That being said, Brawler already topping up the health a little bit more. Nothing quite going to come of it in this bottom lane for now.
Level 2 is reached by the 80 carries here, but honestly, not a huge amount that can be taken away from it. 4th bullet, just got to watch out for it, OK Tiger. You can't afford to be hit by those crits.
Yeah, he's already a little bit low. In fact, now they can really afford to get hit by crits.
Bomi!
This is what we talked about. This is what Bomi's got to do. Started red side. He's got the damage. He's got the bullying potential. He's going to at least find where Bill is. He was actually kind of wanting to steal a camp, but not quite going to get that. Let's get pinged out now. Get brought down to protect that top side. Bomi, I like the aggressive pathing.
I like the aggressive pathing, but what's he really taken from it? All he's done is given away his location.
He's taken a scenic trip.
I think he took a small puppy as well. But in any... killing one of the wolves.
Right, yeah. Okay.
That's what I meant.
That makes sense, right.
Right?
Why is he taking his dog on vacation?
Bill knows blue buff is still available, so he's going to opt to not go for his own red buff and go straight for the enemy's blue buff. Might pick up a scuttle on the way. No, going to go straight there. Time is of the essence.
Oh, smart moves by Bill. Gets the ward down. Actually,
he's
oh, no way. He's just going to go for a gank. Body slam over the wall there. Totally unspotted. Brawler and OK Tiger, they do have flash and movement speed to get out of this one. There will be a second body slam soon. Oh, the stun doesn't quite catch OK Tiger, but he is forced to flash anyway. That's a really nice move by Bill. Does take a bit of damage. And the ward is there as well, so he's going to know exactly when Bomi goes for his blue buff. They're going to be able to keep tabs on that very aggressive Graves.
They really would have had to time that quite well as well, because they need to know, did he have enough time to take our blue buff? Because they can't tell without checking the duration of his own blue buff. And honestly, it's a lot of little micro things that they've got to take care of. But Bomi, he's in the area. I'm sure he'll just check it out. But it's also going to reveal himself to the ward, and it's going to allow King 5 to be a little bit more aggressive when they know where the enemy jungler is.
Yeah, exactly. And we said this is what King 5 needed to do to deal with the potential Tigereye aggression. Now Bill going to be able to clear up his red buff nice and safe.
Is he?
Knows exactly where Bomi is at. Knows exactly what is going on. Yeah,
he doesn't have smite. He can't do it.
Yeah, he's actually, you're right. He can't. It's on cooldown. He's got the barrel now. I feel like he's just going to kite it out slowly. He does still have the damage to do it, but maybe takes a bit more than he wanted. And actually, this slows down his pathing compared to Bomi.
That's true, but it means he's going to smite the wolf camp, which, while Bomi is not really in the area to really trigger it, it's going to let them know, all right, Bomi definitely not in this area. And to be fair, Rare Fiction does like to roam around on that Echo right now. You can see him on the mini-map, getting down some very deep vision. I love it. He's going to know when Bill is moving in to take out that Gromp. He's going to, maybe, even with that ward, he's going to see the Wolf Spirit. So he's going to know he's been in the area. Going to have complete tabs on Bill. I love that ward.
Yeah, really, really smart one from Rare Fiction. It's not quite the lane that Bomi wants to get.
He knows how low he is.
Yeah, that's... Well, actually, more importantly, now he knows that... Oh, he knows that Bill's backing away. This means that Bomi can make a play in any lane. He needs to set up the positioning now, though.
He's quite low.
Yeah, actually, the only lane he can gank as well as bottom, and he's a long way away from that because Shock is actually backed. You can't kill someone who's not there.
Raven knows that he can go
hold on a
trades or
second.
maybe even kills.
Rare Fiction needs to be careful. That is a really nice parallel convergence, though. The trophy is won! Raven, he knew he had it to splash forward with the bite and the mastery players. Wait, hold on, what?
All right, so...
KO got a kill as well in the bottom lane. What just happened? Well, damage happened, I guess.
Number 4 bullet, right?
Yeah.
Number 4
special.
lining that up. But look who's down here.
This is the
weather report for tonight.
Oh, but he might get stunned up here. That could be disastrous because Bill comes in. Art of Ferns just punished completely.
And
they didn't have a jungler. That was not the time to roam for Art of Ferns. He did not respect the crowd control. He did not respect the damage. And King 5 just walked all over Tigereye.
And that's huge in the mid lane as well. He's not level 5 yet. I was calling out for a weather report because I was expecting a Chaos Storm. Level 5, not going to bring that. Shock, though, level 6 in the mid lane, has both of his summoner spells, has a Gragas to assist him in ganking, is really going to be key there. And you've also got to take a look at the items. 20 CS lead in the mid lane. And also, with the 80 carries recalling, despite that disastrous fight, OK Tiger can at least pick up the best friend sword.
The best friend, yeah.
The BF sword, sorry guys.
Well, a really good set of moves there by King 5. It's
again.
Oh, no way. Rare Fiction, you've got to respect this Trundle early. You can't go toe-to-toe the same way as you could before. And that was really just great use of the subjugate by Raven. He's now in position to open out a CS lead of his own in the top lane. And this is how King 5 deal with Tigereye's plans to play aggressive. They're not letting Tigereye make those moves. And Bomi, after picking this Graves, has yet to do anything with it.
Rare Fiction, feeling like he's got an advantage in that top lane, despite losing most of the fight so far. He thinks he's safe with that ward in the river. However, the gank paths that come out from Bill on that Gragas means he can actually dive over that wall, throw out an explosive cast, send Rare Fiction back into the turret, and at the very worst, force out his ultimate.
Tigereye, they do need to find those aggressive moves, but at the same time, they can't even slow down their play here. They need to respect the potential gold leads here from King 5. When I say potential gold leads, there are real gold leads here. Rare Fiction again going really deep in this top lane. This time Bomi is here to back it up. They're expecting Raven to go aggressive. What on earth?
Just about to talk about that as well. Having a look on the minimap, Shock just absolutely shoving straight into that turret. And I was going to say, keeping Artifice pinned against his turret.
No flash on
just keeping him pinned to the fountain right now.
Yeah, and now this is the move from Rare Fiction, but this is spotted out by a ward from Rare Fiction. He's even trying to recall bait it. Come on, buddy. Play smart here. Raven, he's not going to take it.
So there's a trick you can do, right? If you're recalling next to the bush, and then you walk in at the very last frame of the recall, it looks like you recalled.
Yeah, but with a ward there, it just doesn't work. So now Tigereye are spending a lot of time setting up something that is just never going to work because of Raven's ward. So again, King 5 are just totally answering Tigereye's early game. And I said it early on in Champ Select, right? If Tigereye do not execute, they will lose. Short of a miracle, at least.
It's such a risky composition to run, and that's exactly why your point was so certainly correct. You make any mistake.
So certainly correct until I end up being wrong.
Yeah, well, we were wrong about Tigereye's lead in the last game, so we can always be wrong.
We can always be wrong indeed. And speaking of leads, about 2.5k gold lead, the biggest gold lead we've seen this early on, and even Tigereye when they were 4-0 up last game did not have this kind of lead. So King 5, it's not just the kills, it's also the CS, and now it's the pressure.
And we talk about the pick potential that comes out of King 5. And a lot of it, of course, comes from the Syndra, a little bit from the Gragas. We haven't mentioned KO, though, on the Jhin, right? He's got the Deadly Flourish to snare you from range to keep that crowd control going even longer. And then, of course, Curtain Call if anyone gets out on a small amount of HP. So many tools there to punish the squishy champions. And the other thing is, you can just use Curtain Call as an opener against this composition. Who's going to block the shots?
I like this move by King 5. Bomi, he can't even afford to contest his own buff and force to flash out. Now Brawler's the one in trouble. They're going to go for it. They got the knock-up, and Brawler doesn't have a way of getting out. He's definitely going to fall. They're not quite leaving it, actually.
Come on.
There we go. Little Decoy going to get that one because they kind of wanted to leave it for KO, but KO is focusing on OK Tiger. They do get OK Tiger low, and I don't think the King 5 lineup can actually afford the dive here. Bill, he's going to go maybe turn attention to this dragon, and OK Tiger is going to reform. Actually, they don't want the dragon at all.
A little bit too low, and you've got to remember
Ace done it, though.
Ace in the hole was still available for OK Tiger.
He'd recalled, though. They'd seen him recall. Like, it was actually only Bomi there to contest. They're still respecting the smite, but he doesn't have the burst damage, so he could have gone for it. They've opted not to. What's fast is fast.
Really? Oh my goodness. Shock is just demolishing this mid lane. That turret actually dropping quite low. He might actually be able to solo pick up the initial demolition gold.
Yeah,
that first turret kill gold.
Yeah, he might just very literally demolish this mid lane. You're dead right. And I mean, that wasn't even his fellow mid laner. That was Bomi there taking chunks.
Shock though, we've seen him solo kill Artifiends twice now.
Well, okay, he has solo killed Artifiends. We haven't seen him solo kill Artifiends, but you're completely right there. You know, you even said it, Artifiends, he's not just pinned to his turret, he's kind of pinned to the fountain right now. And without that Victor coming online, they lose so much of their catch and fight potential.
Does have access to his summoner spells now, both of them. He'll be a little bit safer.
Yeah, he's going to need to use both, no doubt, because, I mean, let's get real. Shock, he's going to try and set it up again any time now. Brawler, this time he's here in case Shock tries to go aggressive. The longer he is here, the more he's not in bottom lane. Now the missing pings have gone out. They know that Brawler is not in bottom. Now I think he's been spotted in mid as well by the minions, so they know what's up. They know what's happening.
That said, despite how ahead Shock is, still pretty easy to gank. No escapes. And as long as you don't run at them in a straight line, it'll be alright.
That was the Chaos Storm.
That was a Chaos Storm.
That was the Chaos Storm thrown out just for minions. I mean, maybe those minions said something mean, maybe they deserved it, but that's not available for Artifiends now. Oh, okay, Tiger totally caught out by the cast. They're going to go for a dive. They've got the Curtain Call to follow it up. Okay, Tiger, he can't juke if he's got nowhere to run. Channel up the ace in the hole, but is that just going to stay on Bill all game? In any case, a great slam dunk onto OK Tiger. It feels like King 5 are racing each other in their lanes to see who gets the turret. I think bottom lane's gonna win.
Bottom lane's going to get it now, but Shock, maybe he'll just kill Victor off screen again.
Yeah, who knows?
Maybe.
And then just get the turret.
Maybe
he might just get the turret. It's only like 3 auto attacks. They are racing. They're going to do it. One more.
No, it's not enough. It's going to be bot lane going down first for the initial demolition. That gold going over to the bottom lane of King 5. They're going to leave it for KO if they can. Brawler, the only one there to respond. He's taking a couple of turret shots because he is pretty low, but he does get it. Taking that gold for himself. Now they get mid because it's only one shot away, and King 5 just blew the map wide open.
Now it's great to pick up the initial demolition gold on your AD carry, or that local gold. I would have liked to see it go to Shock though. Of course, he's going to get the turret down and get that team-wide gold for himself. And oh my goodness, we're going to talk about the gold difference in a second.
Yeah.
But getting that local gold on Shock would have been so important. Just keeping Artifiends even more pinned to the fountain.
They actually haven't even taken down that mid turret. I mean, they know that Shock can just kind of get it whenever, really. So even though the gold is already nearly 6k ahead, and hold on, let's just address that in a moment, right? Rare Fiction, he's not getting out of that. No flash, no movement skills. There's the mid lane turret going down, plus a kill. King 5, they're all over it like a rash, and a nice catch onto Bomi as well. They want to keep it going. They're going to kill him under the turret.
And that's just because he's so squishy, right? One explosive cast, you're out of position as a very, very vulnerable character. You're going to die. And it took them a while to do it because they're both tanks.
Oh, no way!
Artifiends! No, okay, this time the follow-up isn't there. Brawler, is there for the save.
But Artifiends, he couldn't even move in to defend his own turret.
Needs to be careful though. He's got some vision along the flanks.
Ooh, Rare Fiction just barely got mileage out of that teleport there. Raven didn't quite get the turret in time. He is on the retreat now, but Little Decoy is there to help him get away. So again, King 5 all out of turrets down now. Look, the map, I said it was wide open before. Like, now it is just completely gaping. Like, this is King 5's map.
Such a wide open map, this may as well be Fallout 4, right? It's just, there's so many places to go. Right? I'm trying to make a reference,
look,
right?
Fallout 4 had a very, very dense urban center, all right? We can excuse the arguably small map compared to other RPGs. But let's talk about League of Legends.
This is what I get for trying to make a reference, right? I try to be cool with the kids, but in any case, let's have a look. 9-0. 9-0. I mean, we saw 7-0 last game, but not this early.
Yeah, 9-0 and nearly a 10k gold lead, currently sitting at about 8k in favor of King 5. Bomi, he gets a blue buff. Woohoo!
Well, it's a consolation, right? 8,000 gold behind. Very hard to come back from, especially 1-1 into the game.
Oh, and he gets caught by the
He's not
barrel.
out of trouble.
Not just yet. Even the crit could do it. Oh, just barely sails wide.
Blind shots, though.
Yeah,
so
blind shots indeed. And unfortunately missing all of them, but still, that means he's out of this fight. But Rare Fiction, he maybe wants to go into the fight himself. Shocked though, he got away. Now Rare Fiction too deep as he got stunned. They're just not respecting the crowd control, or the damage, or even just the pure pushing power. And King 5, this is their game to lose now.
Big positional advantage, particularly with that full health Gragas. They can easily just leave their squishies. Oh my god,
Can you believe that this is first dragon as well?
It is pretty hard to believe. It shows King 5 really focusing on just individual laning to take down the turrets and then moving together. But as I was saying, Bill could have just zoned out anyone with the amount of health he's got. Cloud Drake going to be picked up for that out-of-combat movement speed.
It's going to be another Cloud Drake. Look, normally we would talk about how Cloud Drake is great for teams to rotate and siege down turrets and yada, yada, yada. King 5, they don't even need Cloud Drake to siege down turrets. They've nearly got more than half the turrets. They've got 4 out of 9, not including the Nexus turrets, total structures. Okay, so yeah, they can rotate, but rotating between those 2 remaining inner turrets is something you can do without Drakes anyway. They just kind of picked up the Drake because they could. I mean, you might as well take the gold off the map.
And look at the gold difference.
Do we have to?
Between the 80 carries.
It
was a few thousand.
I know, it's just...
And I mean, look at the CS. Not very far difference, only 2 kills, but that's more than 2,000 gold.
Yeah.
Almost purely from the global gold that they've got so far.
I almost don't want to look at the gold again because I'm starting to feel bad for Tigereye. They were looking for a blowout with their team comp, but King 5 are the ones just taking it to Tigereye. It's a blowout in their favor instead. Tigereye, it could not have gone more wrong for the early parts of the game. How on earth do they get back in this?
Well, Tigereye, honestly, it's stop getting caught out of position. Respect the barrel. Respecting the barrel is the absolute #1 most important thing they've got to do right now. And that means warding absolutely everywhere. Gragas can go over almost any wall on the map and then suddenly throw a barrel out. You've got to track his flash as well, so you know you're going to get flash body slammed. It's all rotating around the build. But look at this.
Again, not respecting it. Okay, Tiger does barely get away. Oh, never mind. They do get a little decoy in response. Hold on, they want to try and follow it up. Bomi goes deep and it pays off. This is how you do it. This is how you make it happen. And it was actually King 5 overcommitting into a 3 versus 5. Now Bill's going to drop down. 3 committed, 3 died. Rare Fiction, he is going to get it and use that ultimate to get back into safety. Actually, sorry, Our Defense is going to get it. Oh, hold on. What can KO clean up? He gets 1 bullet. He's going to look for another one. Did he get anything with... Oh! What was that? How much damage does that even deal? KO? What?
No one has ever done that.
That 4th bullet deals a ton of damage, but that was tons more than we were expecting. They do turn back around 1 kill, and that is still Tigereye walking away with an advantage. They're kind of pushing back into it, but that just goes to show how much respect they still need to give King 5.
I feel bad for Tigereye because KO just totally stole the glory of that team fight. They really played it perfectly. Yes, they got caught out at the start, but they had flash, they knew their timings, and were able to turn it around, particularly with the Chaos Storm. So, you know, grats to KO, but stop stealing the glory, buddy.
It was about a third of the health bar.
It was almost half. I can't believe it.
It was a huge, huge amount. But that is the 4th crit bullet, and I mean, look at the guy's build. I'm not surprised at all while he's holding onto that Duskblade that he can do that much damage with that crit bullet.
Now with the Duskblade as well, just anyone caught out of position.
Sorry, excuse me, the Duskblade of Drakthar.
That's such an edgy name, I love it.
I know.
I love it. It's like if Reaper had to use a sword, he'd use that.
But then he'd drop it and pick up another one.
Let's stop talking about other games.
Yeah, let's talk about more League of Legends, because King 5, they're now looking to close this one out. I mean, even though they lost that last fight by overcommitting to this mid lane with not enough members, this time they're doing it right. They're playing it by the book. 4 guys here, 1 guy in the bottom lane, and Rare Fiction is forced to answer that split push. Not that he really can against Raven's Trundle. This is how King 5 close it out.
Now the King 5 wave clear is not really there when you're sieging. Oh my
Whoa,
god, that
whoa!
damage.
Raven, he even wants to carry it on. He's happy to go into the turret. He needs to not take too much of that, but he does force Rare Fiction away. And he did pop that subjugate, but this has bought the rest of King 5 the time to chip away at this turret.
Now we didn't actually see it, but Curtain Call was used. So that's going to be down. It's going to be a little bit of breathing room for Tigereye. I'm not going to say that's an opportunity for them to jump right in, as that's exactly what Rare Fiction does. But in any case, we've got some breathing room to get through this pause.
Wow. So, look, the first thing I want to address is we knew what Tigereye needed to do to start winning this game. They haven't done that. They can still find a way back into this. It is dependent, admittedly, on King 5 making mistakes, but we have seen them do that. So, first of all, King 5, they need to play cautiously. Second of all, Tigereye, what went wrong?
Well, Tigereye, I mean, you say King 5 have to play cautiously. They at least have tankiness to make up for their mistakes. But Tigereye, the second they make a mistake, King 5 jump on that. They've got the damage to just assassinate anyone absolutely immediately. But we're out of the pause.
Yeah.
We're back into the game.
See a bit more of that assassination as we jump back onto the Rift. And right where we left off, of course, King 5 continuing to pressure that mid lane turret. I would love to see how low that is.
So as I was saying before, breathing room is there for Tigereye with no curtain call available for King 5.
Oh, Raven again.
Oh, the Deadly Flourish!
The stun! The stun from the Deadly Flourish! And Raven picking up that one. It's not even going to be the mid turret, it's going to be the bottom one they take. And KO has stayed here because as the response comes down to the bottom side from Tigereye, they left the mid lane exposed. It's not much, but it's some.
The Yogos has been popped.
Now with Bill in the collapse, they're going to get this turret. All they need to get is one kick, and they can just blow this map even more open, blow the base open.
Despite Tigereye actually having some kills now, it's 6 turrets down. Tigereye have not taken a single turret. Once again, I was saying this before about kills, but this is almost more important right now. Oh!
Tried to stop the bags. It's going to follow all the way across the map, right on into the base. We didn't quite see it connect, but it did connect. That's what happens when it fires out that last moment. But I mean, even if he'd stopped the backs, there wouldn't have been enough damage to follow up, no doubt.
No, but in any case, a little bit demoralizing right now for Tigereye, but King 5 really turning on everything right now.
After we were talking about how even these teams were too.
Absolutely, they're really showing why they came out of the qualifier as the first seed. Dragons spawning up at 3, 2, and 1. It's going to be another Cloud Drag, like you said, not the most important thing for King 5 to really take out right now. But
the important thing to take out is actually Bomi. They get the knock off on Artifans as well. They're going to go in for a Bill flashing in. They're going to get the displays. They can definitely get Brawler from this. He actually flashes away from the last shot of the curtain call, but he's a dead man walking. No matter how you slice it, KO's still picking up that one, and you know, they're just going to let him live, right? It's, you know, it was kind of a pet for a moment there. Who do we want to kill this guy?
Rare Fiction just...
I can take that back. That's not what you want to do to your pets.
We are talking about video games here. Rare Fiction cancelling the recall actually, so it's going to be very hard for them to defend this turret. They're taking down an inhibitor turret. In fact, Raven trying to push the fight straight onto him, keeping him involved.
Yeah, I can at least understand that in terms of not wanting Trundle in the rest of that fight. And actually Trundle seems to be he is stopping the backs from Rare Fiction. There goes the inhibitor now in the mid lane. Shock the one to pick up that one. And now I don't doubt they're going to wheel around, capitalize on the work that Raven has done in the bottom lane and do exactly what they just did on the bot side.
They need to drop wards as they go down to that dragon. If that's on their mind right now, it puts up essentially a free dragon right now. Because of course, they're winning every single team fight. They're sitting in darkness right now. As well, Raven was. Keeping that vision down is so important for them right now because, like we said, picking the squishies down is so key. And while they've got 2 scanners, I'd almost like them to pick up another one. They don't really need 3 blue trinkets when they're so highly in control of the map right now.
Potentially, more scanners could be useful.
Oh,
again, Bomi. Your own jungle isn't even safe. He is for sure going to die here. No matter how far. Oh, hold on. No.
You have to die after he says that. Come on.
I'll be caught a liar here today. He does get out. They had to use quite a bit to make that happen, but part of that was honestly the explosive cast did whiff. Had that connected Bomi, he would certainly be dead. They really wanted that so that they could close out another one of these inhibitor turrets, but even without it, King 5, they have now the opportunity to take
Raven,
down.
buddy.
Is this at last going to be their option to kill Raven? Or is Rare Fiction going to go too deep? Because he can get turned around upon, and it's going to happen. You've got to respect the damage out of Raven. But Raven has to respect our defense. There is a couple of resources blown just to make it a 1-for-1, and while that was going on, King 5 taking away the Baron.
2 people used to take down Trundle in the bottom lane, and particularly the person with teleport was the one that died during that fight. They couldn't even it up. They couldn't go for any kind of steal. Great moves by King 5, recognizing the situation, knowing where the Tigereye members are, able to capitalize on the situation. Baron buffed up, 14,000 gold ahead, miles ahead in kills, miles ahead in towers. It's honestly looking very, very grim for Tigereye right now.
There is still a path back into this game for them. They do still have a lot of damage. And there are still some squishy members here from King 5. King 5 need to make sure they don't put the wrong people in the wrong lanes because, of course, KO can die if he's alone, as can Shock. Raven, a bit of a different story. But when it's just the base turrets, Raven can only put down so much pressure alone. King 5 now playing it nice and slow, going to clear out the vision. Probably secure this dragon as well. And when that Baron looked to close out the game.
And with the Baron, they can do what they're already doing. Split push. Put threats in separate lanes. And that is just so key. Just when so many squishy characters are split up even further, it makes it so much easier to be able to pick them down. Throw out that Syndra stun. Throw out that explosive cast from Gragas. Now they've got out of combat movement. If they need to rotate around to jump into their split pushes lane, if they don't want to go for a teleport, or even just rush up to the Nexus turrets. They've already got an inhibitor down in the mid lane. Who's that sitting in the bush there?
They didn't actually notice. Bomi did back. They didn't notice Rare Fiction there. This is Tigereye. Yeah, they're going for a big play here just to try and see if they can even it up, right? They know that it's unlikely because our defense is already no, he drops down. They can't even set a defensive play. Now Bomi in a bit of trouble. They're just going to wheel back around, take out Rare Fiction before they address the rest of the fight.
And it's curtains
with
for
the curtain
them.
call. It's fun to stay at the YMCA, the triple kill. He doesn't quite find the quadra. Bomi barely able to scrape away with his life. I think he will make it to the fountain, but Brawler might not be so lucky. Raven isn't even here. He's dealing with more turrets. Gets the next one down. They're going to be able to take out the bottom side inhibitor now and the top side inhibitor. There is nothing left on this map but the Nexus turrets. Tigereye, the map is dark, the map is lonely, and now the map is going to disappear altogether as the game gets closed out against them. King 5 looking to take the crown here as they get the second Nexus turret. It is really close. The first two were close. The last one's a blowout, and King 5 dropping the Nexus to give themselves the 3 points on the board. GG, well played.
What an absolutely spectacular series to start off the NZGC this year. The Major is going to look incredible if every game is like that.
For sure. And we talked about how evenly matched both of these teams were for the first 2 games, and they really, really were. Let's make no mistake there. In that game, though, Tigereye, they went in with a plan. Like I said, they were looking for a blowout. It wasn't even that they didn't execute. They didn't even get a chance to execute. King 5 just suddenly looked like the better team. I don't know if that's because King 5 are the better team, or maybe if Tigereye have some things they need to address, but in any case, both of these teams have positives they can take from that looking forward. King 5, though, 3 points, 1 point to Tigereye. They've got to be feeling good.
Definitely. Of course, really looking for the 2-0 when you're moving in as the favored team. Of course, just the previous history we've got from the teams. One of them just placed better. And King 5 really showed why tonight. But if they didn't, they were really looking for the 2-0 win tonight. They were able to take out the first game, was it? Yes, the second game.
Tigereye were the first game. Yeah, yes, King 5 the second game.
So King 5 took out the second game, and they could have been demoralized from the start. They weren't. They managed to keep their spirits high despite falling so behind in the second game, and really pulling it out for what is a win in the series.
Yeah, they didn't actually come back swinging, right? They came back nice and cautious and then lined up the knockout punch in the last game. That's what it was. Really measured play by King 5, not just in those games, but in the series as a whole. You know, I don't want to say they saved their best for last because, honestly, that wasn't even their superstar champions. But in any case, King 5 just put themselves way up there as hot contenders in this series.
And of course, coming up tomorrow night, we've got DNA playing up against Too Easy, isn't it? Yes.
Yes, it indeed is. Of course, tonight we had King 5 beating out Tigereye, dropping the first game, picking up the second and closing out the 2-1. And tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we've got DNA playing off against Too Easy. Again, both teams we've seen from the qualifiers, both looking very, very strong. And then on Wednesday night, live on Sky Sport 3, live in the Hexadome, it's the returning champions, the Villains, playing off against the All-Stars, handpicked by our coaches and analysts here at Decode Esports.
Decode Esports. I'm excited to see what they have to pull out, and I'm excited to see if the Villains make a return to form. That being said, tomorrow, some pretty exciting matches coming up as well, as Too Easy are going to take on DNA. By the end of this week, we will have seen all of these teams play once, but tonight it has been King 5 playing and beating Tigereye. First team with points on the board, 3 points to them, 1 point to Tigereye. Fantastic matches tonight. Any final words?
Oh, it's been a great night for me. I've loved it. So much exciting action. Honestly, the long-range snipes from KO in the end really sold it for me. But greatest series to start off the major I've ever seen. So I'm psyched.
Yeah, and I hope tomorrow is just as good, and we are, of course, going to see you there tomorrow. So thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Tune again tomorrow, same place, same time, and from all of us here at the production team, thank you very much, and have a wonderful night.
The NZGC is a production of Let's Play Live and brought to you by Logitech G, Twitch, Playtech, Adina Hotel, and all our fantastic technology and media partners.